Hello guys, how's it going? Good to see you, Ruben, Rob, and Arfu. Today we're going to be casting a 9-game show match between DauT and TaToH. I am so excited. We're about 5 minutes away from the Civ draft and Civ draft being started. The maps will all be in the Discord if you guys just want to have a look through which maps will be played. I'm super pumped for it though, I can't wait. I'm guessing based on previous drafts, I'm kind of thinking DauT's gonna want to get rid of some Meso Civs. Like either picking them for himself or to just outright get rid of them. Oh, he's banning Chinese and banning Bulgarians. Okay, I'm wrong. I was kind of thinking he might pick Chinese as first pick. Yeah, Simon, that's absolute like that is fantastic. I specifically made sure I didn't want to make it so that either of these two players had to put anything in their title. I don't think that's the right way of going about it. I think if you're putting on an event, it's fair enough to ask people to who are also casting the event to put your name in the title or something like that. But I think because these two players are the ones that are taking their time out of their day to play this show match, I don't think it's fair for me to go, hey, you need to put my name in your title. DauT picking the Mines though as his first pick. TaToH picking Italian, so he wants to get him his islands pick super fast. Why ban Bulgarians? Bulgarians are very strong on Empire Wars maps, and I'm assuming that TaToH is already thinking ahead of the Empire Wars format. They're also super solid on Arabia. So I'm guessing they're a pretty decent ban. I wouldn't say that would be my first priority. And DauT going for the Chinese ban, obviously Chinese are one of the strongest civs. Portuguese, okay. So TaToH actually has two civs that would be very good on islands. Italians and Portuguese both. Two of probably, if not the strongest civs, two of the strongest 3 or 4 civs on islands. And DauT picking Britons and Aztecs, so I'm actually not surprised by him picking the Meso civs here. I was surprised he didn't ban either Mines or Aztecs, kind of as an in case he didn't get one or the other. But getting both of these civs, I think, is a very solid position for the Lord and Savior. Hey, Deadmeat, how you doing? Yes, unfortunately, we did have a little bit of a trouble rescheduling this from last week, but it's amazing that we're getting it on now. I think I put it as show match. Maybe I could quickly do that. Give me 1 second. I'll try and do that whilst we're watching the Civ draft. We do have TaToH picking the Berbers and Lithuanians. Lithuanians amazing on hybrid maps. Berbers are amazing on Gold Rush. So I'm kind of thinking that Berbers will be the pick on Gold Rush, I would say. DauT picking Mongols and Magyars. Magyars probably for Empire Wars Atacama. We did see that in the last edition of the Shadow Gauntlet. Mongols are just, I think that probably be the Serengeti pick. They are pretty much the meta pick on Serengeti. See, I actually got this command still from last time. Okay. Almost there, guys. Sorry about that part. I should have had this organized, but we had a couple of problems earlier with my stream. Ooh. All right, settings should now work. I'm not sure if the command will look very nice though. DauT picking the Persians and Malians. They're two of the best Nomad civs. And TaToH sniping the Magyars away. I could not have predicted that he would snipe Magyars. I would have thought maybe like a Mayans or an Aztecs. And DauT sniping the Italians, so kind of forcing TaToH to pick the Portuguese on islands. I think TaToH will be pretty happy with that though. So DauT has two very good civs for Nomad here. Oh, he's picking the Burgundians. Let's go. Burgundians recently received a really pretty honestly hefty buff in the last patch. And I haven't seen them picked in any high-level show matches or tournaments just yet, so I'm excited to see this. Hey PT, how you doing? And hello Marintho. Japanese from TaToH, possibly a golden swamp pick. I'm trying to think where Burgundians would be best played, because I haven't seen them played in a competitive setting enough to know which maps they would be best played on. I would say like kind of like an Arabia style maps they'd be pretty damn good on. No worries, that me. Enjoy. Hey, PT, nicely done. Getting even further above 1700. TaToH going for the humans. I'm thinking that would be the arena pick. We also did see Nearly doing an amazing initial push as humans in the last show match. So maybe it could also be the Regicide Fortress pick. DauT going for the Slavs and Ethiopians, and TaToH rounding it out with one of his favorite civs, the Saracens. I think out of the two players' civ drafts, I sort of prefer DauT's, but TaToH's civ picks very much suit him. This is kind of the difference. DauT has probably picked the better meta civs, especially when we're considering most of the maps in the Shadow Gauntlet, whereas TaToH has picked the civs that most suit him. I think that's pretty awesome. Fair enough, PT. No Incas? I mean, why would you pick Incas? I think they have a very unique late game. I just think that their early game, beforehand was one-dimensional, and now it's kind of like, eh. Alrighty, hopefully they'll be sending the game ID to me any moment now, and then we'll go jump into game one. I can't wait, guys. Aaron, would you mind putting up a prediction by any chance? With this civ draft in play, who do you guys reckon will take game one? Regni, if anyone banned you, I'd ban. If any of my mods banned you, I'd ban them. That's just a warning to all my mods. You'd say TaToH takes game one. I think TaToH has a good chance in game one. I don't think TaToH's gonna play full meta. I think he's gonna play like either like a Saracen super aggressive, his usual kind of tatty rush. And he does have other good civs as well for Arabia, either like a Vikings or a Lithuanians. But I think based on the rest of the civs, I would probably do Saracens game one. TaToH has humans for Regicide Fortress. It's interesting, right? Because humans for Regicide Fortress are pretty decent, but last time we saw Vietnamese actually dominate them after the initial push got stalled. Humans don't have much to fall back on. So if you can survive that initial push, if it does become a bit of an all-in type of strategy, then the other player should be in a pretty good position. No Franks, surprisingly not. I was a little bit shocked as well when I realized there was no Franks. Especially considering their relatively dominant place in the meta. I don't think they're as strong as we maybe consider them to be. At the pro level, I don't think they're quite as strong as we consider them to be at the lower levels. They're still an absolutely beast civ. But yeah, I would probably say that the strength of them is more noticeable in the high level. Sorry, in the lower levels. Alright, we do have a game ID, so they'll be jumping in any moment. I'm really excited to see what DauT does with the Burgundians, honestly. Because as I said, I haven't seen any pro players really playing the Burgundians at all. Lions are quite good against humans on Regicide Fortress. Definitely. Lions are China best civs for Regicide Fortress originally, but humans are a slightly bit stronger if played correctly. I thought that the boom wasn't. I think in regular Fortress it was something like the on regular Fortress, it was stronger than Regi Fortress or something. Guys, get your predictions in. Who do you guys reckon will win Game 1 on Arabia? We already have some points in here for TaToH. Does anyone want to vote for DauT? Let's have a look and see which civs they'll be playing. I honestly think it'll be Saracens versus... I think DauT would want to save Mayans for Game 2, but Mayans would be a very good Game 1 pick. Maybe Aztecs, but then we do have a ringer later, and Aztecs are a pretty damn strong civ there as well. Maybe Mongols, but Mongols is probably more of a Serengeti pick. I don't know where Britons fits into this, or Slavs. I think it'll be Britons or Slavs. I'm gonna fast forward to the live game. Make sure we don't fall behind. It's definitely not a best of 3. It's a all 9 games played. Let's fix that. I'm really surprised by the 2 players' picks here. So we have DauT picking the Aztecs for Arabia. Very strong civ, but not what I was really expecting based on his draft. And TaToH going for the Japanese, surprisingly. I thought Japanese was going to be saved for Golden Swamp later on. And thanks for doing the shout out, Aaron. Rochi, how are you doing? In terms of map gen though, DauT has these quite defensible berries. Really nice main stone. Look at this Viper map hacks. Back secondary stone, back secondary gold. These wood lines are quite wallable. In fact, I think there's possibly even an extra wood line. I mean, obviously it's like an extra wood line, but it kind of goes towards DauT's base and in his favor. So I actually really like this base for DauT. And then we have a look at TaToH's base. 2 forward secondary golds on this horrible hill. Main stone also next to this horrible hill. This horrible hill to the side near the berries. And then, fortunately, a bit of redemption for TaToH. A back wood line, a back main gold, and back secondary stone. But in terms of map gen, I feel really bad for TaToH on this game 1. Japanese are counter to Aztecs. I think it depends on how Aztecs want to play it. I think if we're talking like... if we eventually get to an infantry war, Japanese should in theory win, I think. Because then TaToH is forced to go into champion. Sorry, DauT is then forced to go into champion against the Japanese infantry. And but I think Jaguar Warrior versus Samurai, if we get that far into the game, I actually think that's pretty even as well. But in terms of the earlier parts of the game, I think Aztecs have a bit more momentum so Japanese have a very strong men-at-arms opening. Aztecs also have a very decent men-at-arms opening. Oh, is DauT paying attention? Or is he going to eat some arrows? TaToH is not even really sending the villagers into TC, not wanting to waste that precious villager time. Japanese can just go CA. They can absolutely go CA. I don't necessarily know if CA is the way though. Especially because usually with Aztecs, you'll normally do like a men-at-arms archers build. And if you have a decent number of crossbows, and you upgrade them, well, in early Castle Age, you're going to be at a significant advantage over a player going for CA. DauT can't make Jags. I mean, he can if he wants to. I don't think it would be the best idea, though. And what I've noticed with a lot of these high-level players, when they have a berry patch like this, they'll actually place it 1 tile back, and I'm starting to understand why they do it. It makes it so your berry patch is actually significantly more wallable if necessary. And I really love this. So keep an eye on that for some of the later games. DauT clicking up at a 22 pop Men at Arms Archers build. TaToH going for a 21 pop Men at Arms build. This is the more OG style of the Men at Arms build. This is the more modern one, and especially with Japanese, it's super. I won't say super easy, but it's a lot easier to get a 21 pop with the Japanese over most other civs. Hey Roadrunner, how you doing? What if DauT goes full clown mode and makes Aztec monks plus SO? I'll be laughing my ass off. And DauT's actually not going for a Men at Arms approach. He's actually going for a straight archers. So I think if you can wall off the front, and he's even walling off the sides as well, DauT knows what he wants to do here. There is this annoying scout from TaToH. I think that as long as TaToH can keep this scout around, it can be a little bit tricky for DauT to walls up, but he's descending a second villager. It will absolutely be crucial here. These men, well, soon to be Men at Arms, are pathing towards the right-hand side of DauT's base. And he's already getting these quick taps in. And now the scouts is like, I hate it when my opponents do this. But I do this as well because it buys you a little more time to get the wall, to delay the walls from going up. Let's have a look where these three militia are. They are a little bit further away. Oh no! And DauT gets the wall up initially, but has to pull back, but the scout's getting a little bit too weak. I don't even think with perfect micro here that TaToH's gonna get away with this. And he even gets the scout, so that's a really good trade for DauT. And he's even gonna be managed to be walled on this right-hand side. And then he's gonna be walled on the left-hand side as well. And TaToH's having to go for significantly more greedy walls, but the only good side about this is because he's the one that's doing the forward aggression right now, he is dictating the pace of the game for the moment. And then gives him the chance to get these ridiculous walls up. The problem is here that there isn't really any better way of walling for TaToH, and he's actually even skipped the Men at Arms upgrade, which I really like because obviously he's not going to be getting much value from these militia. But I really can't believe just how bad, or just how different the two maps are. Like, TaToH will have this nice back wood line eventually, and this is one problem with DauT's walling. All of his wood lines are actually going to be rangeable by crossbows / CA if we end up seeing a few Japanese CA. I don't know if CA will be the way though, just because DauT is opening with at least one range of archers for the moment. TaToH going for the one range of archers himself. So I think both players are just going to try and macro their way up to the next age as soon as possible. And then I think in early Castle Age, in theory, it kind of depends on what both players go for. I think if DauT goes for Eagle Crossbow, I think it really favors him. I think that if TaToH goes for like a crossbow siege type approach, that could be very interesting. Although the problem is that once Eagles get to enough upgrades to counter both of those units. So maybe it'll be crossbow knight from TaToH. Or alternatively, I was gonna say maybe he'll try getting a bit of a boom going, but I don't like TaToH's map enough for a boom. I think that the one that will be booming is DauT. We all know how good DauT is with that macro at getting up to the next age at a very good time. And the advantage here for DauT is he has his scout alive. TaToH has to read this matchup with these three militia. And DauT also has a lot of room to build some barracks. I guess they're not really sneak barracks, but out of sight of the enemy. TaToH also has the option of doing so. The difference is, though, that the Eagles might come as slightly more of a surprise than I think some Japanese knights would do. Hello, Vatola, how you doing? TaToH gonna be annoying over here, though. Obviously not gonna be finding that much value with these militia, but at least gonna be forcing DauT to idle one villager for a little bit of time. And DauT with the slightly higher idle eco time at this time in the game, but only a measly 2 minutes and 29 seconds. If this was me playing, it might even be double that at this stage. Have a look at both players scouting real quick, and DauT just dropping the range now. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see neither player moving out with their archers. I think it would almost be better for TaToH to be bringing forward his archers. He can at least force DauT into more investment. But then it also seems like TaToH doesn't want to invest into the blacksmith and fletching too early, and just wants to go for the earlier castle age as well. So let's have a look at DauT's scouting real quick. The DauT has a pretty good idea of TaToH's base. I'd sort of like him to rotate over to the right-hand side, but he is keeping this eagle around, and the reason he's keeping the eagle around here is so that he can see if a single archer pops out of this range. If he sees any archers popping out of the range, he knows that he will then have to invest into fletching before picking up. Let's have a look at TaToH's scouting. I think TaToH's been a tiny bit more active with these militia than DauT has been with his Eagle Scout. Don't know why, I always struggle to get the players to swap colors in terms of which ones I can see. It's like, it's shift right click, right? There we go. I don't know why it wasn't working before. But TaToH clicking up about 40 seconds after DauT here. And his scouting... Oh, he's actually set both players setting forward the archers right now. Lion wants a bit of action. Gets shot down. I sort of prefer this for TaToH at the moment. But the problem is that the both players have sort of made it very awkward to get in on the additional sides. And DauT actually gets 2 Vil kills. Now, 2 Vil kills isn't game ending, but it is pretty huge. And we do see DauT with the second range at home as well now. TaToH is only just dropping his second range, so his numbers are going to snowball a little bit here. DauT does need to be careful not to lose any of these villagers. He does react just in time. There is a second palisade behind here, but you could argue that DauT might want to drop maybe a bit of a market block here. He is sending these soon-to-be crossbows back again. He will have about 30 seconds worth of tech advantage here that he can use. I think TaToH senses this, otherwise I don't think he'd be sending his army away right now. And DauT now up to the next age is getting Bodkin and Crossbowman. He's going to at least get rid of one of those annoying militia. And the important thing here for DauT is if he can find these archers, he can do so much damage to TaToH's military. But he's not chasing them down. Is he? Or okay, he is chasing them down, thank goodness. I was going to say, you as DauT here, you 100% know roughly where these are going to be. And TaToH will even be fighting uphill. DauT also dropping a second town center. This is looking very rough for TaToH right now. They'll be losing these 8 archers. He does have another 6 at home. But yeah, these don't stand a chance. The best trade I think you can get for TaToH is maybe get 2 archers. Yeah, 1 crossbowman, 2 crossbowman, maybe even a 3rd one if he's lucky. Or with very good micro. Getting 3 crossbowmen for the price of 8. Obviously not a good trade for TaToH. But I think this is as good as he could get in that situation. Thanks so much, Ozolo. That's really amazing to hear. I've definitely been working on it over the past year or so. And a 3rd range coming down for TaToH now. So in this situation, you either kind of have to tech skirm and go for +2 defense, or you double down with the archers and you try and outproduce your opponent. Japanese do have very solid economy going into early Castle Age. And I do think it's very much possible, but it does mean that you have to delay adding additional TCs for the most part. It's even going for early ballistics here as well. Whereas DauT going for the 3rd TC, I'm not entirely certain about this TC. I understand that if you're in DauT's position, you want to expand and have some safe wood lines. But it does kind of leave the back of his base unused for the moment. I guess as he does have the map control for the moment though, it is a good call. TaToH actually placing a couple of cheeky stone walls here as well. So the only place that DauT can pressure without siege is this left-hand side of the base, which is where all of TaToH's reinforcements will be coming from. Doesn't look like DauT has dropped a university yet, so potentially with some amazing micro from TaToH. We know that TaToH can micro these endlessly. So he can possibly get a decent trade in. I think this is where DauT realizes his opponent has ballistics and just tries and gets the heal advantage here. And it's so frustrating if you're playing DauT right now, or playing as DauT right now, trying to get these crossbows when your opponents micro them to avoid your lack of ballistics. Hey Dave, how you doing? Have a look at the numbers. It's 18 to 30 in favor of DauT still. You can see that the numbers are actually slowly going down for DauT. I would imagine he's dropping a university at home. But the thing is, you have to stall long enough that this university goes up. He's also... I think he's shift queued after this village has built the house, so he's not really rushing it up. Maybe losing a few more units I think DauT would have wanted to lose here. He does have the substantially better economy though, at 62 to 46 villages. And DauT's just like, you know what, I can't be bothered, and just tries and gets whatever he can. He does have a lot of reinforcements at home. He did have a few, picking off some of TaToH's numbers behind this though. So it could have been a much worse trade in the end. TaToH also going for Thumb Ring. Thumb Ring is huge in these archer fights, whereas DauT went for the +2 defense. The +2 defense I think only pays off if neither player has ballistics. And of course with TaToH having ballistics, he kind of messed with that plan. TaToH now adding a second TC. Again, the big issue here for TaToH is he's on the clock to do eco damage to DauT. Whereas DauT's, even if he loses his army, I think he's in an okay spot. He's even making siege at home. It looks like he's stopping the archer production just for the moment. And this may indicate he's wanting to go for some eagles soon. He is going to get at least 2 villagers, maybe even a 3rd villager on this wood line. So even though DauT has lost more military, DauT is the only one who has done eco damage so far. And that's in spite of TaToH needing to be the one doing the eco damage. I think TaToH might get a couple of vill kills on this TC though, especially if DauT's not paying attention. Let's have a look. There's gonna be at least 1 villager pick, I think. 2? Come on, DauT. Okay, he realizes he's gonna even get a few of these crossbows. Oh, TaToH's not paying attention. He's distracted by the fight over here. So even though this fight over here looks like it's going very much in favor of TaToH, this was a sweep over here. We do see forward siege workshop coming from TaToH, 2 forward villagers. They might get picked off though. TaToH is not really paying attention to them. DauT's doing a bit of a just passing moment here. Oh, that's another 2 villagers down. That's huge for DauT. Now with a 600 score lead and a 30 vill lead, and TaToH calls it. DauT winning game 1 on Arabia. So now we know that all the doubters here will be losing some puntos. If you voted in the prediction. I just think that was a very solid macro game from DauT. Again, proving just how solid his macro is. Getting the 3 TC eco going. Not overcommitting to army, but still getting enough army out that you can try and pressure TaToH. And although TaToH went for the 3 range play, because he got caught down here and couldn't really do much about it, he then lost the military advantage, which then just kind of snowballed the game a little bit too much in DauT's favor. Exactly, Rob. Who are you rooting for? I mean, you can also say to us who you're rooting for, so we can try and rig it in their favor. I mean, what? GL Dave the Hun, exactly. That was a fantastic game 1. Game 2, let's have a look at the remaining civs real quick. So TaToH picks Japanese and loses with them. I really feel a little bit strange about the Japanese pick here. I was expecting them to be picked on Golden Swamp. Whereas DauT going for the Aztecs and winning with them. So in terms of game 2, let me just double check the settings. We're going to be on Regicide Fortress, so I don't think it'll be much of a surprise for the civs to be humans versus Mayans. And at that point, it's kind of about execution on the humans end. I mean, it's also about execution on the Mayans end, but I do think the Mayans are the strongest civ overall. But humans have a very niche window of opportunity to do a lot of damage. And now TaToH not wanting to risk his king too much. So yeah, this is what we were saying before. There was 1 tower at the back for TaToH, but DauT has these 3 back towers and this back castle, which will make it a little bit harder to defend his base from initial push. Can you imagine getting your overlay, guys? I can't. I would never do such a thing. In terms of build order though, it did look very clean from TaToH, getting up at a 4 minute and 15 uptime. That's absolutely bonkers. Obviously going for the human boom. The only thing you don't want to do here is send too many villagers to build this TC though, because at this point you're only on 11 villagers. Well, 15 villagers, sorry. You're not on that many villagers, only about 11 at that time were working. DauT, on the other hand, with a relatively clean build, and we'll probably just look for 3 TC play. And one of the things about Regicide Fortress is that the 3 TC play approach tends to be pretty decent against the human 2 TC play, at least from what I've seen. True, Nubis, true. That's one way of saving yourself some heartache. I remember being back in those days. Nubis, I'm not sure much of this, but Nubis actually streamed yesterday. It was so much fun to watch him stream. But anyway, hopefully we'll see it again someday. Was that meant to be secret, Nubis? I guess you wouldn't go live if it was secret. In terms of upgrades though, TaToH already getting that nice and early double bit axe and horse collar. Oh, it could be... I just thought of a civ that would be interesting on Regi Fortress. And I don't know if it'd work very well, but out of DauT's picks, Burgundians could have been interesting. Just due to the early economy upgrades. Maybe I'm overthinking it a little bit, but I wouldn't hate to see that. I also wouldn't hate to possibly see Burgundians on Arena here. But army yeah, that's one of the problems, right, with Burgundians. They're quite predictable, and their army composition isn't the best. And thank you for the follow, Wallace AoE. So DauT going up at, he's gonna be up into the castle edge in about 10 minutes, and thanks to you as well, Rotinator. So the 2 TC approach from TaToH, I think what he has to do here is not overdo it too much here. I don't think he wants to stay in the feudal age for too long. And you two Ozelos, I really appreciate those follows, guys. And Nubis with the 10 gifted subs. Bloody hell, man. Thank you so much for those 10 gifted. I really appreciate it. And I hope all the guys that get the emotes really enjoy them. Roasted. And you two Liverpool FC gamer fully follow as well. Thanks so much, guys, for the support. It's absolutely incredible. So TaToH going on to gold now, maybe indicating he doesn't want to stay in the feudal age for much longer. I think this is the best play he can do right now. I think that he wants to get to the castle age maybe for around 15-ish minutes, and then either go for the... You can do one or two things, I think. You can either do the 2 TC kind of faster Imperial Age, or you can do the 2 TC and all-in Knights ramp push. I don't think that's the right way to go on Fortress more specifically though, just because there is this castle and defensive towers that will help to defend that. And full pike kind of deals with that Knight ramp push. Maybe even Kipchak and ramming Castle Age could be interesting. At least 1 TC going down for DauT initially. He's actually going to mine the stone with these 5 villagers and then drop the 3rd TC. I've seen this on a couple of different ways before. I've seen players go and get the stone in feudal age and they'll just go and, on the way up to castle age and they'll long distance to 50 stone. I've also seen players buy the 100 stone to get that 3rd TC down. But this approach I think is nice and efficient at least, because he won't have to buy and sell resources or have inefficient stone miners for a couple of minutes. Nubis is a statement and a half. Tina is actually very attractive. I said that out loud, I just did. We're going beyond that. Hey Blazing Scrubs, how you doing? We do have TaToH up to the next age. He's gonna have a sub 15-minute uptime. I think this is an extremely good play from him. Eagle Plume is definitely the better composition here long term. Eagles deal with a lot of what the humans can dish out, let alone adding plumes for injury's sake. But with this sort of uptime and this sort of gold count, it is sort of looking more like a 2 TC into a 3rd TC and map control. Maybe my analysis there is completely wrong, but I don't think you'd only have 7 on gold at the moment. I think you'd have a couple more villages on gold. And I also don't think that you'd be mining the stone at this point, unless you were planning to drop another town center or a castle somewhere. So to me, this is looking like a map control with a 3rd TC, and then doing a push in early Imperial Age. DauT being a boomer boy here though, and going for his 4th town center. It's a little bit risky, but if you can get away with it, it will really pay off. That is true, Dave. Kipchaks are extremely cheap on the gold. They are a little expensive on the gold economy, but it is looking like TaToH is going to go for that 3rd TC. And the interesting thing here is owning a 6 villager gap. This is kind of what I was saying before on Regicide Fortress, where the human boom doesn't seem as strong as it does on other kind of closed maps like Arena and Hideout. And that's due to the extra resource, or the different starting resources. I think on regular Fortress is a little bit different, if I'm not mistaken. Those villagers have been collecting for longer. That is also true though. So that TaToH does have the better economy for the moment. But DauT with the 4 TCs, he will be able to catch up pretty quickly. I really don't know if I'd want to take this to late Imperial. I think in early Imperial, I think humans have still have a pretty decent window of opportunity, maybe with some early siege rams, some trebs behind it, and some kipchaks. That's a lot of resources though you need for all those upgrades. Oh boy, Aaron. I think it's quote ad, by the way. I shouldn't probably tell you this though. Otherwise you can start quoting me as well. We do see a is it a 4 TC? 1, 2, 3, and a 4th at the back. So both players being Omega boomers. So at least for TaToH here, he'll be able to keep up with the additional villages that DauT is now adding. So both players will have a relatively similarly fully boomed eco. TaToH's will have been working for a little bit longer, so he will have the slightly stronger economy overall. This is a very interesting play from TaToH. I believe Salmon actually said, will he do 2 TC into 4 TC? And I just kind of laughed it off initially. That seems to be the route he's going for. Where's a real mod when you need one? We do see a couple of plumes on the field though from DauT. And we do see also a Kipchak, no more in the queue though. There's no fletching on these blooms. Fletching coming in for TaToH though. But I think DauT is just trying to be annoying and look for relics here. I don't believe he has a monastery just yet, but he's dropping one right now. And this is a really nice way of securing these relics for late game. Just having a few, even low upgrades blooms, just to be irritating and try and make sure you can secure those relics. And TaToH even making the investment into a siege workshop, most likely for a mangonel. I don't know if this is necessary at this point in the game. Just because if you're TaToH here, you've checked these upgrades, you see that they have +0, so they're not even got fletching just yet. Your Kipchaks will actually deal somewhat okay with them. And you can probably assume that these blooms are, at the moment, they're for the relic war, and not so much for a bit of pressure. Some objectifying? Yeah, I think so as well, Aaron. So yeah, still no fletching in for DauT. I think DauT actually, with the 32 on farms and the 12 on gold, I think he'll be up somewhat soon. But we do see TaToH with the larger amount of resources banked, only actually getting a Scorpion for the moment. So Scorpion defense is less investment than a Mangonel. So it will look like, and DauT actually getting fletching now. So, and he's also got this stone for another castle very soon. So maybe do you castle this forward position in the stone, or do you castle this position with the gold? I don't think you have enough map control as DauT to go for a forward castle, although it would be very true in DauT's spirit for him to go for that. The problem with Kipchaks here is they need bloodlines and actually they don't need husbandry because humans get that for free essentially. They do need bloodlines to be relatively, even slightly tanky. That plume at base actually has more HP than a Kipchak. Oh, DauT, are you paying attention? TaToH's gonna sneak off with a relic. So the relic war is being forced. And so far, the weird thing here is, okay, never mind. I just jinxed it for TaToH. He's gonna lose that Monk, and DauT the first to look up to the Imperial Age. I don't think TaToH's gonna be super far behind, but again, the question is the composition of both players. I would much rather be Mines going into this Imperial Age. I don't think I'd want to be Humans going into this Imperial Age. I think if you can get to like a ridiculous mass of them, maybe there's a... Like, maybe you can just about deal with the Eagles and Plumes. Because the thing is, Kipchak's still better with Eagles than most other Archer units do. That's partially due to their mobility and also due to the extra arrows they fire. So I think in terms of Eagles more specifically, I think that the Kipchaks are fine. It's more the Plumes that they're going to have problems here against. We do see Bloodlines and +1 defense coming in, so it will probably be Kipchak Hussar for TaToH. We don't actually see any more Kipchaks coming out, so maybe it's going to be Paladin in Imperial Age. We do see some more stables being dropped as we speak. I really don't know the overall plan here. We do see a second castle on this hill. It will make pushing this position quite tricky for DauT. It's actually a really nice castle, unless it gets doubted, shall we say. There are only actually 7 villages here, and we do see DauT moving up these plumes, looking for somewhere to hit. If these plumes rotate up here at this point, there are 5 scorpions on this hill, and I don't know if they necessarily want to take a fight. And oh my god, the shots are going to be huge. Look at those shots coming in, even though they're not actually killing many of these plumes. Look at that HP loss. There's almost half of their entire HP removed just from those scorpions getting some shots in. But DauT does have the earlier Imperial advantage. He saw this castle going up, so he will want to get some trebs out pretty much ASAP. Although he's going for Chemistry Bracer, I still don't see any trebs coming out. I'd love to see a treb being queued up straight away. Maybe he didn't see the castle, because he wouldn't be going back into this. Oh no, DauT, what are you doing? He mustn't have seen the castle. We do see Cavalier and +4 defense and conscription coming out for TaToH. I would also like... Oh, he's already queuing a treb from this castle as well. DauT now queuing his own treb. But TaToH in a very good position, and DauT hasn't even really thought about adding pikemen just yet. Let alone halberdiers to deal with the Cavalier. I think he's expecting Hussar and Cavalier. I don't think he's expecting the Cavalier play here. Kipchak Heavy Scorp would be interesting, but I don't know if it's a particularly amazing composition. And now DauT sees... The thing is for DauT though, he sees all of these additional stables, and he's pretty much certain there's going to be some Cavalier coming out. That's really good value for DauT. We will see Paladin coming in for TaToH. Now, there is a massive risk with going Paladin, and that is that if you don't end the game pretty quickly with Paladin, you're usually kind of stuck in a bit of a endless back and forth, especially with an opponent going for Halberdier. DauT hasn't actually queued any pikemen up yet, although he did make the pikeman upgrade. And he hasn't actually dropped any more barracks. So I think he's preparing it, but I don't think he's necessarily gonna go through with it too much just yet. Yeah, that's the thing. So DauT is already kind of aware that there is at least gonna be Cavalier on the way. But I do think he's kind of greeting with the plumes, not expecting the Paladin play to come in. +1 attack coming in now for TaToH. DauT gonna dive for these trebs. I don't understand why you would do this. DauT's a much better player than me though. The Cavalier are coming in over here. I do think that TaToH has to kind of dive a little bit here to get these trebs, and then he can keep his castle. If his castle's going down though, Paladin's coming in, castle is not saved. Paladin can tank a few of these castle shots, but these plumes are absolutely beastly. Another trap going down, but the problem here for TaToH is this hill, which was once very easy to defend, is now a little bit tricky. +2 attack coming in now for these Paladin. We do see some capped rams. Currently, DauT doesn't really have the pikeman numbers to even deal with the rams, let alone the Paladin. I think he's just going to try and dive this as much as possible and try and keep the numbers as low as possible for DauT. And as long as TaToH has gold here, I think this is okay. I think once he starts running a bit low on gold, it will be a bit trickier. And the important thing here is that DauT doesn't just get one castle over here. Either it's that he gets all of these castles and the barracks production. And this is going to be huge for him if he can manage to get all of this. His halberdiers are strong against Paladin. There's only +1 defense in them for right now. And he's actually getting the +2 attack upgrade next. I'm not entirely certain of why he's getting the +2 attack before +2 defense on these halberdiers. Possibly a misclick. I would like to see TaToH thinking about a counter for these halbs though. I don't think he's going to get to the snowball he needs to just win this game with Paladin alone. And the question is, do you go for Cuman skirmishes here? And Cuman skirmishes are absolutely shit. Pardon the French, but they are very, very bad. So I'm not entirely certain of what the best play here for TaToH is. I think it would be Paladin Scum. I think that's the ideal composition here. We do see those 2 castles going down for DauT though, and that's a nice swing of momentum in TaToH's favor. Still more Paladin coming out, still more Rams coming out. Maybe is the play, use the Siege Rams to kind of soak up as much of the Halb, and then try and get an engagement with the Paladin, or is TaToH just looking to go into the eco of DauT? Problem is there's stone walls absolutely everywhere, and DauT also getting some quick stone walls on this castle to stop it from going down. And TaToH kind of throwing these siege rams away for no good reason. I don't like that play from TaToH. I really think we do see skirmishes coming out now. Excuse me. So I was going to say, I do think that skirmishes at this point are absolutely necessary. But we do see them coming out now from TaToH. He's even getting the +4 attack upgrade. We do see DauT getting the elite eagle, the elite plumed warrior upgrade coming in and +4 defense. These plumes before elite aren't the strongest unit, but with elite they are pretty damn beastly. They're so tanky as well. 65 HP on a archer and that pierce armor as well. And this is a bad fight for TaToH. It's kind of forcing the fight so he can try and get his castle. And he does have these skirmishes behind us now, which at least means it's a better fight than it was going before. I think if TaToH gets this castle, it's worth it. I think if he doesn't, then DauT's going to be in a very winning position. We also don't see many additional buildings being added down here for TaToH just yet. I'd love to see a few more buildings being added to try and push this bit of map control he has, and to also slow any push DauT can make from here. 1 Treb going down for TaToH. DauT almost losing the castle though, due to running out of stone, but we'll keep it alive. And now all of a sudden it's looking like a very, very good game for DauT. This is kind of what we were saying before, even with these couple of Paladin raids over the right hand side, DauT's just like, I have 2k wood in the bank, you're doing me a favor, I want more military anyway. I was going to delete these 4 villages. Crop rotation and 2-man sort coming in for TaToH. Maybe recognizing this is going to be quite a long game. And also trying to get a castle on this hill, I do like it, although I would have loved to have seen a castle being forced here whilst this fight was going on. I think if you force a castle whilst this is going on, you then end up with a much better position. I think that adding the castle now leaves you more vulnerable to this being denied. It sort of seemed like this castle was added as a result of losing this forward position, as opposed to as a means to an end, if that makes sense. We still see a couple of Kipchaks being annoying over here, but DauT just flooding in the halberdiers right now. He's got plenty of plumes to deal with the paladin and even the skirmishers. Like, don't get me wrong, skirms en masse do count as plumes. They're not like a skirmisher countering regular arbs or anything like that, just due to that extra pierce armor and HP. And also, we gotta remember these are Cuman skirms, they do like bracer. And we now see DauT getting these trebs out and ready to start pushing this position that TaToH has made for himself. TaToH, though, going to try and start pushing from the top end of the map. This castle's going up, but TaToH's going to lose a couple of villages, and it's going to be starting to get trebbed straight away. And losing some more paladin to those halves in the front. Bit of a menace for TaToH to deal with right now. The treb is going to start hitting this castle over here, though. And part of the problem here for DauT is that he sort of has to choose between producing trebs or producing blooms most of the time. Whereas at least for TaToH, these castles are constantly able to pump out more trebs. Ballistics now coming in and Yield's coming in for TaToH. He really is ready for this to go to a super late game. There's a sea trap coming out here. It could do a decent amount of damage. 39 halbs in the queue, 21 on the field at the moment for DauT. Good night, Aaron. Thanks so much for dropping in. I appreciate you. 3 siege rams here. So and the halbs are, I wouldn't say they're out of position. They're not in the best position. DauT now kind of realizing. And is TaToH happy to trade castles here? Even a siege ram coming over here. We did see some halbs actually coming and a villager or two coming to dive the treb over there from TaToH. I think that was before the castle went up. These siege rams though are absolutely killing it. And the thing is, the skirms are doing enough to deter these halbs. That they aren't getting as much damage in as is probably necessary. But there are 3 trebs on this castle from TaToH. So it is very much going down over time. But that castle from DauT now goes down as well. And DauT sending the boys, or the girls and the boys I should say, and they're going clean up that damned treb. And it's a little bit shocked by the castle there. Paladin though going down in massive numbers here. I honestly think if I'm TaToH here, I even consider switching into Hussar and Skirm Siege behind it. And we already see that coming out now. But with this final free tile of gold being his last access to gold on the map, it is a little bit unfortunate, but DauT has 2k gold in the bank and he's still mining it somewhere. I can't actually see where he's mining it. So TaToH almost completely out of gold, and the Hussar are getting absolutely nothing wrecked by these halves. And this is what I was kind of saying before with the Paladin play, is you need to do so much damage with the Paladin play that your opponent can't get to this stage of the game as easily. So I don't necessarily... I think the Paladin play could have worked. I think that he stayed on Paladin for a little bit too long. But then I also don't know what else he could have made. I think maybe switching it into Hussar, Skirm, and then adding Siege would have been slightly better before. But then DauT does have the option of switching into Eagle Warriors. And at this point, I don't actually see a win condition for TaToH. Mines with gold are scary, but mines when they have gold and you have 0 are even scarier. Hey gamers, how you doing? And Tithi, good to see you. We do see some Hussar raids coming through for TaToH though. Is there gold in the top? I think that was a stone pile there at some point. With that extra gold therefore, DauT is going to look very nice in his bank account. He's banking that gold. He's even getting Eagle Warrior here. And the thing is, I think that DauT knows that TaToH is completely out of gold. There isn't that much gold on this map from my memory. And as long as DauT can keep getting at these scale numbers and just lose his halves rather than these blooms, he's in a position where I don't think he can really lose. Relic situation is 2-3 in favor of TaToH. So TaToH did secure an extra relic in the end, which I actually missed. It looked initially like DauT was going to have the better relic control. But 3 relics here to those 2 extra lots of gold for DauT, especially with the Eagle Warriors coming in. I think we'll be seeing TaToH calling the GG very soon. So TaToH still had gold reserved to put in front of these skirmishers. I think he can hold here, but he doesn't have any gold reserved. He's actually getting some more Hussar, trying to help deal with the Eagles. Obviously, Eagles still win against Hussar, especially mine ones if DauT gets the full upgrades. And funny enough, TaToH's raids again doing DauT a bit of a favor, removing some of those extra villagers and just allowing him to get some more military on the field. DauT wins, TaToH taking the set of the match 2-0 so far. Alrighty, so it's going to be Portuguese versus Persians. The Persians can play early water very well. It's just going towards the late game, they lack Bracer, which means that they can't really go for galleons too easily. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe they get fast fire ships, so it is pretty predictable what DauT will be going for in the long run here. In the short term, I think there's a point where you have to kind of play for war galleys and possibly even galleons for a little bit. But in the long run as DauT, you're gonna have to play for fire ships or you have to play for a landing. So I'm not certain on this pick for DauT. It does mean he still has Malians available for Nomad. But I think DauT maybe is respecting TaToH's prowess on the islands here, and that's why he's going for this Persian pick here and trying to make something a little bit different happen. No shipwright even, so it's really not a particularly good navy. Like I think they might even get galleon. I could be wrong on that as well. But having no bracer on galleons is an absolutely huge thing to be missing. You're always gonna get constantly out microed in that situation. Landing into douche, oh my god, that could be a masterpiece and a half. We do see both players docking at relatively the same time, so neither player's build suffering badly. But I think Persians are able to drop it a tiny bit sooner than most of the civs due to the extra 50 wood. DauT, okay, I was gonna say DauT needs to drop a house, but he must have dropped a house somewhere that I missed. Douche. I don't think douche should be viable, but it could be entertaining. Although I don't think I've ever seen DauT do a douche. Like, not that I can remember in the last year I've been watching him and other people in the community. I don't think I've ever seen DauT do a douche. The funny thing is though, it could throw TaToH off enough that it could end up working, right? It shouldn't win a stuff because you fully factor transport res. I think that's the problem, right? Because it's 150 wood for the dock. It's 100 wood for the transport ship, which is already quite a large expense. And TaToH with the slightly cleaner build here will be clicking up at 23 population. Now, actually, clicking up a little bit before though. And the reason behind it is that TaToH actually went for Loom. And normally on islands, you actually skip Loom. So I'm thinking TaToH, the reason he might be going for Loom here is he's expecting a landing and he's expecting a landing early. I can't think of any other reason for it. And DauT's making a transport ship, guys. Making a transport ship. He's not planning on playing water. At least not for very long if he is. Both players reading the situation pretty damn well, I think. The thing is, if you can get 3 villagers and this scout over there, and then drop, I'm guessing, stables? He's not moving on to gold. He's not actually dropped a barracks at home. It's gonna have to be a barracks initially. And TaToH's already scouting the right-hand side of the map. He's gonna get all the information he needs. DauT's just like, oh shit, here goes my plan. I think TaToH saw that. I don't think there's a... Oh... I'm gonna say he saw that. It has to be. Although he is dropping the second dock, so it looks like he's playing meta water for the moment. And he's not dropping a barracks, so it doesn't look like he's actually seen the landing just yet, although he's about to find it. That's super unfortunate for DauT. And now, the best response from TaToH would be to just drop a barracks. You don't even need a stable here, just drop a barracks, get some spears out, and you are completely fine. Or even just a couple of walls will really help here as well. I think a barracks would still be ideal. And DauT isn't even remotely playing for water. He's not even made a single fire ship. He's just like, nah, water's not my thing. And even going for a tower on TaToH's island. Now, is TaToH going to counter tower this? Does he see this? He does see it. So far, it just looks like he doesn't really care about this woodline. And is pretty happy just rotating back to this woodline over here. Never mind, he's dropping the tower, but maybe a little bit late. The good thing here for DauT is he's got still this transport alive, so he can go and transport the 2 scouts over. I think that might be what he does. Or even 3 scouts. And he will have this tower before TaToH's goes up. So we can do quite a bit of messing with TaToH's eco. TaToH now looking for that damned transport ship. Gonna try and kill it. And TaToH fighting it with those 2 fires. DauT better be running. The funny thing here for DauT is he can actually drop a dock over here to make it harder for him to be taken off of the island if he really wanted to. But I don't think he's going to get enough value out of here to actually win this. That being said, DauT has now made a fire ship. And these 3 fishing ships are still working. They're chilling right next to a fire from TaToH. It's actually quite amusing that TaToH's fire is just sitting there. Okay, and the only reason it's being woken up is due to this villager trying to build a dock. So maybe the whole plan from DauT here was just to force TaToH into doing some more land shenanigans. And then he's gonna follow up with fires. And I actually kind of like this play. Especially when you're against someone who is seen as one of the strongest players on islands. I think that you have to respect that and try something a little bit crazy. TaToH also going for a range and a blacksmith on his island. So, and he's not really investing much more into water. He is currently getting a demo out. Maybe respecting the numbers of fires that were coming out. But DauT suddenly seeming like he's in a pretty okay spot. And we see villagers being roasted everywhere. First of all, DauT's poor villager over here. Second of all, TaToH's one over there. A demo coming out though. And it's gonna hit the... Oh, that would be... So, in that situation, do you want it to hit the low HP one and kill it? Or do you want it to hit the full HP one so you can repair it? I honestly don't know. Now, with a repair villager, this 3-on-2 actually is very in favor of DauT. A bit of a pause coming in. Maybe at the not so ideal time for DauT, as he does have to keep repairing the fire galley that's currently under fire. A bit weird to say the fire galley that's coming under fire. Okay, and now we do see the game unpause. TaToH retreating a little bit, and a demo from DauT. A really nice demo shot, and now the HP looks pretty much even for both players. But TaToH with the reinforcement advantage. Let's see if DauT can land a strong demo here, especially next to the 2 villagers. Please make it happen, DauT. That would be so funny. Not only getting the demo, not only get the demo on the fires, but getting on the villagers. We are unfortunately left a little bit disappointed. Hey Towners, how you doing? We do see these 3 archers though, and the problem for DauT was that he did lose that tower. These 3 villagers are a little bit exposed. It doesn't look like TaToH dropped the range for anything more than a few archers, just to be irritating, to be honest. And try and make sure that DauT can't make any more buildings on his land. And in the meantime, DauT losing water pretty considerably. By the looks of things, although it is 6-6 military on water, and with really good micro from DauT so far, dodging a lot of those fire shots, and a demo forcing TaToH to flee. So it looked like a really good trade initially for TaToH, but slowly became better and better for DauT. Let's see if this demo comes in. It looks like it's just chilling. And TaToH now with the revenge transport ship. Where is it coming from? It's coming from this dock over to this left-hand side. There aren't really anything... There isn't really anything over here that's finding it until now. DauT actually going towards this at probably the most opportune time he can, whilst also winning the feudal water war so far. TaToH gonna be losing at least 1 or 2 of these fishing ships now, which was definitely helping him get up to the next age. Maybe the transport's a little bit early, honestly. I would have transported in Castle Age. The thing is here though that DauT doesn't really have much on his island. He is making some skirms though, ready for a landing already. It's so underwhelming. That is unfortunate, isn't it, when there's a demo that looks like it's gonna be super juicy, and it's always the ones that, oh no, the demo's gonna be wasted on these fishing ships probably. TaToH's even trying to make it happen, but DauT either has that on no attack stance or was paying attention there. So a cheeky transport from TaToH. Gonna be trying to find some value with these archers. I honestly think DauT is just having one of the best starts of a set in his life. Like, it's absolutely incredible what he's doing right now. DauT following over here with the demo. I'm not sure if he's actually exploring or if he saw a transport in the corner of his eye. Feels like a bit of both, honestly. TaToH will be the second to click up though, unfortunately for him, with DauT having the slightly cleaner build and clicking up to the Castle Age first. Now, long-term water Portuguese absolutely nothingly clap version, so we do think DauT's gonna have to do damage in Castle Age. He does have another transport ready to go, and I think it'll be a Knights and Siege approach. Thanks so much for the feedback there, Towners. I'm loving this as well. And DauT is trying, TaToH is trying to find a little bit of value over here if he can. There are these 3 skirmishes over here. They don't actually have any upgrades, but they don't really need that many upgrades to deal with this number of archers. And thank you for the follow, Yampi. Or Yamp. Not sure which one. And TaToH losing quite a lot of these fire ships. And he's going to take a massive demo hit. No, TaToH. No. It could have been much worse with that little bit of micro he did towards the end. He does have the ability to do some backdock slow and try and reclaim water. And I think that long term in this situation, you know that you have the better water play as the Portuguese. These 4 skirmishes though are going to be a very big deterrent to these archers getting a lot of value. You might see 1 villager pick. Also, not even 1 villager pick. Really nice from DauT. Kind of reading the situation. Does lose 1 villager. But that is 5 archers kind of squandered, and any pressure from TaToH on his base is no longer a thing. And already a knight coming out for DauT. So now, how do you play this as TaToH? You still have your transport alive. You still know that you win this late game. It's just a matter of now surviving till late game. Do you drop a castle somewhere? DauT going for CA for some reason. Not certain about the CA choice here. But he could prove me wrong. He's done it before with the Korean CA. That would be hilarious though. TaToH also getting the Castle Age ship upgrades in. I think if you can get a couple of good demos here, he is also making demos. I think you can start pushing DauT back off of water. Especially as it seems like DauT might go for another landing soon. As if you can start pushing your opponent off of water, big shot over there. Actually a really nice shot from TaToH. He's also paying attention, gets another second good shot as well. So now the water military is 10 for DauT and 6 for TaToH at the moment. And this second TC is absolutely vital for TaToH. Also has the access to the stone, the gold, and the wood line. And DauT isn't yet going for any he's not going for any galleys or anything, so he can't actually range this wood line. Although with these Persian CA, he might be able to do something. I feel like DauT is that one person who'll make CA with every civ just for the lols. Wheelbarrow now coming in for DauT. Second TC was up quite a bit faster for TaToH than it was for DauT, but the villager counts are still slightly in favor of DauT due to these fishing ships that have been kept alive. Wait, where did I hear CA is being... Oh, the CA getting at least some value. Thank you for the follow, Scarthic. Gonna see at least 1 villager going down for TaToH. I'm still not certain on the CA pick here. The Monk did manage to convert a Knight for TaToH. Thank you for the follow, Shad974. And the Monk can still convert these CA. It's obviously not the most ideal situation. And that converted Knight also getting a bit of value there as well. But 2 Monks in the field for TaToH. And it looks like he is just going to do a very decent hold until late game water play comes out. We do see more demos out for DauT. He's got so many demos out. My question to you guys is, how do fire ships do against caravels? I think in theory, caravels should do quite decently against fire ships, especially on Mars. But I'm not entirely certain because I haven't seen it been played out too much. Thanks so much, Scarthig. I really love organizing these show matches. This is my second pro level show match I've organized. I have also organized some high elo and even some mid elo events as well. But I really, these are definitely some of my favorite events to organize as well. That CA though, that one's a converted CA, I think did decent if I'm 100% honest. And there is still a couple of Monks on TaToH's base and another converted CA. Wait, no, TaToH is making CA. He's making Portuguese CA. Alrighty. And the funny thing is that Portuguese CA are cheaper on the gold than they normally would be. And if you don't want to upgrade to crossbowman, maybe this makes sense in some weird world. Thank you for the follow, Branzillo. Yeah, I mean, it's cheaper for TaToH to make these CA than it is for DauT. TaToH doesn't really want to be wasting these though. He must be distracted somewhere else at the moment. Maybe on this water micro battle. Monk is a little bit overextended though. Don't know if I'd still be sending forward the Monk. Although if you can kill this one, start converting one of the other ones and not lose the Monk. No, I don't know. That just seemed a little bit strange from TaToH overextending. It wasn't like these 3 CA were doing a whole lot. We do see a spear, a skirm, and 1 CA on the field for TaToH. There's a bit of an AI army, and he's going for this really forward castle. So the important thing there for TaToH was to take not a winning trade, but a decent enough trade on water so that he could get his castle up. Meanwhile, on DauT's no, he has been booming away on 3 TC eco. So it looks like DauT's gonna play for the early Imperial Age here, go for fast fire, and try and just win water there. And maybe some cannon galleons as well would be pretty amazing. Especially since cannon galleons no longer need to be researched as of the last patch. I think that's such an interesting... This must be the most irritating thing ever. Just transport some skirms and see how annoying they can be. DauT's actually going to be the second one up to the Imperial Age though. And he's not really banking the res anytime soon. And TaToH with this really nice castle on the shoreline, taking quite a lot of fire ships from DauT. So TaToH is in a bit of a weird position where I think it's actually pretty decent. But he does have to deal with this double stable over here. And this castle only protects the shoreline. It doesn't protect the eco of TaToH very much. Maybe a couple of farms and a bit of a wood line. TaToH is mining the stone for a second castle at some point. But I don't think he has the reason to assume that he needs to rush it up, and that's why he isn't. So have a look over here though at the production. No knights actually coming out from here, so maybe DauT is trying to just wait for the right moment to strike, but he's gonna get found. And the thing is for TaToH is that if he sees all of this from DauT, he knows what's coming. He knows it's gonna be quite an aggressive play coming his way. There is this castle going up for DauT, but TaToH has this organ gun and 1 skirmisher in the way. The annoying thing here for DauT is that even if he loses 1 or 2 of these villages, that slows his castle going up even more. And there is this castle here for TaToH where he can go and kill this castle with some trebs. I don't know. The thing is, this castle's gonna be half done, but I think if if TaToH was up maybe 20 seconds earlier, that would even consider deleting this castle. Although that being said, it can be a little bit tricky here to push this position without much military on the field, but these organ guns are absolute beasts, and there's a couple of monks behind this. And once this forward is cleared up for TaToH, he again does have the much better Imperial Age army composition here, at least in terms of water maps. We also do see another transport coming down here for TaToH, maybe looking for a bit of his own transporting towards DauT's base. Is he going to go here and go for a castle? Treb's now coming out, Bracer coming out, Chemistry coming out. He's actually going for he actually made the transport for the relic. The GL boys definitely love their relics, and it's always a good plan to go and get them. But as Noob is pointing out though, DauT with a pretty decent Vil lead. I just don't know if the Vil lead makes as much of a difference on islands as other maps. I think on islands, like if you're staying within like 20 villages and you've got Imperial Age on the way, I think that TaToH's in a pretty decent spot, especially if you manage to get this castle down. I think without this castle, there's no trebs and there's nothing to back up the Cavalier play here. So I definitely prefer TaToH's position at the moment, even though he is dealing with this rather annoying forward still from DauT. I honestly would consider maybe just using a villager to help speed up the process of bashing this stable down, just because it would irritate me, not because it makes sense. But I get so irritated when I've got buildings on my island from my opponent. TaToH's making a lot more water military. He's not really making a lot of land military here. He's making some crossbowmen, but I think this is maybe a bit of a mistake, realistically not investing that much onto the land. Maybe he hasn't seen how much. No, he knows. He even saw the stables and the siege workshops. He's gonna go for this castle here. And DauT has a few rams that I do not know. This is a DauT castle. This is a castle DauT would try and make and then regret it. I don't even know if DauT would regret it, if I'm 100% honest. There is the water support here. And the trebs are being focused down, so it doesn't mean that TaToH's able to just repair them. So it could be a much worse position for TaToH. But TaToH really does need to ramp up the military production on his own island. I think he's going to get called out here a little bit. This castle, I don't know why he's committing into it so much. Especially with these capped rams coming in. Currently, TaToH doesn't have any melee units other than villagers to deal with these rams. And it just seems like a very greedy and unnecessary castle from TaToH. Like how they're going down, it is slowing the damage from the push, but we do also have some fire ships coming out here from DauT. Oh, TaToH, what is this castle, man? He is cleaning up a few buildings, but if I'm doing this, rather than going for this castle, it's gonna go down before it's even built. I would go cannon galleons. Why no cannon galleons? Hey Huku, how you doing? I'm so happy as well. Good to see you. I really feel this was a bit of an oversight from TaToH not to be making more land military here. I think he was relying on his water military to supporting the defense here a little bit too much. And for realistically a castle that didn't secure him a whole lot. Yes, it did stop this push from happening if it went up early enough, but it doesn't secure any more resources. He does have these two Fatorias though. And in the long game, these Fatorias are huge in these late game islands fights. TaToH now dropping an additional range on his island. Starting to realize he needs to ramp up the production. I would be thinking of getting some halbs on the field as well. I think that if you can deny the land aggression here and then eventually force it into a water fight, I think TaToH has a very good chance of winning this game. In fact, I wouldn't even say a very good chance, I'd say almost a guaranteed chance. And Nuvis, thank you so much for the gift of subs to Huku. I really appreciate it. And Capped Ram attacking this wall over here. The Arbs are kind of in a decent position. And Organs. So in terms of killing Rams, they do kill them somewhat slowly, but they do have a slight bonus against them. So it's not the worst unit to deal with Rams. A second castle over here. So TaToH will see this, and it is starting to starve him of his woodlines. There are 3 Fatorias out there that will be giving him a permanent check of resources, I guess you could say, and TaToH with the counter castle. So I think both castles go up. It's just a matter of whose castle does more damage. And the problem here for TaToH is it forces him to be looking at 2 places at all times. But I do think that this castle from DauT will probably go down pretty fast. With some trebs to back it up. He does still have this castle over here that he can get trebs out from to help back up this push. Could even be looking to get some bombard cannons up. We do at least see 1 bombard cannon out. But those 2 organs being eaten by those siege ramps. And the siege ramp soaking up so much fire here. I love how the Treb is running for its life. Still no melee units on the field for TaToH. Then it's a little bit risky, and this... No, DauT. Oh, he even gets the bombard cannon! There's no way. I thought he was going straight for the Fatoria. And I was just thinking to myself, that would be like a very bad plan. But so far, really good pressure from DauT. The Light have a bit of a hero play almost. And DauT losing another Treb though in the meantime. This resource trickle is starting to be a bit scary though, and Pikeman is now being teched by TaToH. Maybe a touch on the later end, but definitely better late than never, right? That ram going down now, so a good hold from TaToH. This castle is being trapped back, and again, this is what we were kind of saying before. This castle does cause DauT a bit of a, TaToH a bit of a headache, but it will be trapped down pretty damn fast. I love how the piece of wall there was slowly getting attacked, and DauT going for this rather risky castle in the middle. So I don't think this castle ranges the villagers, but I do think it ranges the other castle. And then Trebs and bombard cannons will deal with this castle relatively easily. That being said, TaToH without much military on the water right now, so he can't actually deny it. And he's still dealing with what I'm going to call this utter bullshit on his islands. On his island, I should say. I think we will need to see maybe a couple of cannon galleons. Or just the Trebs that are already here in position, dealing with this castle. But I want to see cannon galleons. Chat, do you want to see cannon galleons? This is very Hera Badwater Civ Lightcap versus Fatoria, yeah. It just... I kind of understand what TaToH was going... Sorry, that DauT was going for. But I think he needed to get damage done a lot earlier than he managed to get the damage done. But I very much respect it. I respect that DauT kind of... I respect that DauT respected TaToH's water play here, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So I think that if you're going in islands against TaToH, and you're not as good at, or not quite as good at him as islands, I think that you do want to play for this slightly more intriguing line of play, which may not be the one that makes the most sense. I think DauT's window of opportunity though is slipping away from him. Not really sure what he can do with TaToH now securing the right hand of his side of his base pretty well. These 3 Fatorias constantly giving him resources, and we do have to remember TaToH is 3 relics to 2 as well. And eventually you do find that you might even get priced out as DauT for the wood economy. That being said, a lot of wood economy for TaToH is currently denied on this left-hand side of the... Oh, is it left? Yeah, left-hand side of the island. Woodlines for DauT are looking pretty okay still, but he is going to be dealing with a push from TaToH after losing that castle. These ARPs are getting a not as good trade as they could be. Bombard can not help him with that at all actually, but will at least be cleaning up those light cav. And these Trebs still being kept alive as long as possible for DauT. He's trying to cling on to as much gold as he can. But I think it's a matter of time now before TaToH just wins this game at this point. DauT still has plenty of resources to be pumping these fire ships out. Maybe even if you can get to enough fires and then get some cannon galleons out. I think that's the best you can do as DauT at this point. TaToH with these galleons so slowly picking up the reinforcements. Also losing this castle on the left-hand side. The light cab are gonna snipe at least one bomber cannon, possibly even two. Maybe a touch on the sloppy end from TaToH. TaToH even going to buy some more stone to keep this castle alive. And eventually, the funny thing is here is that he can start selling the stone later as needed. One trap goes down for DauT, and that's the essential trap. He needed both of those traps to keep the pressure on this castle. I'm not really certain what you can do as DauT here. I really feel like the game is just over at this point. Because now that TaToH's won land and he's winning on water, like, you need something insane to come back from that, I think. Maybe siege ram and Persian longswords, guys. And DauT selling wood. And that usually doesn't indicates that you're not planning to play on until the wood lines run out. If you're selling wood on islands, at this point in the game where wood is starting to run a little bit on the lower end, that usually indicates you're going to go for a little bit more of an all-in from what I've seen. I feel like you kind of have to. Those trade cogs. They are trade cogs. Maybe DauT's going to try and do a cheeky... Oh, he's going for more stables in this island. And he is trying to get to a decent number of light cabs. These are Persian light cabs, so they are decent. I would love to see the Hussar upgrade coming in at some point, though. Another trap goes down for DauT. Sorry, for TaToH. But I think as soon as these forward buildings from DauT are cleaned up, I think at that point you pull GG if you are DauT. That was the time to douche? I think so as well. It wouldn't be as bad if TaToH didn't have these Fatoria. It's the Fatoria that really help it here. And we see, it's not really the Cannon Galleon, it's going to be Elite Cannon Galleon coming from TaToH. Elite Cannon Galleons have 15 range. Demo ship over here, not really doing a whole lot for TaToH. Only 6 fast fire ships on the field at the moment for DauT. Now you need a lot more of them than that, otherwise they will just melt to this mass of galleons. And they're getting some decent raids on this wood line. TaToH down to 69 villages, nice. But it's not going to really do a whole lot here. Like, TaToH has, like, if I'm not mistaken, Fatorias work out to be the resources of roughly 10 to 13 villages. I'm not entirely certain on the exact numbers, but they work out to be roughly that for 20 pop space. And it's a permanent source of income. So we can round TaToH's, never mind, GG is called TaToH is victorious. I just think it was just, it kind of was TaToH's game to win for a large part of that game. But DauT played a really insane feudal age, making it as messy as humanly possible and trying to clinch the victory in early to mid castle age. And then going for that really ballsy landing on the left hand side of the base again. And I honestly thought TaToH was in a bit of a situation when he went for that really risky and almost unnecessary castle there. So I'm glad that it didn't end up causing him to throw the game. But I'm surprised TaToH hasn't saved the Teutones for Arena, to be honest. Like, Teutones are one of the best arena civs. Not sure if they saw much play on Empire Wars Atacama in Red Bull Warlord, but I do think there'd be a decent civ. Yes, we did decide to play the DE version of Atacama, just to make it a little more simple. I didn't have to download any map packs or anything, or had them already downloaded. I think every time that you have an update, the mods reset. You have to re-opt into them. So nice little bit of a trade there for TaToH, getting a bit of HP damage on the villager, but nothing too crazy just yet. And DauT going for quite heavy walls. I'm not too certain about this wall towards the back of his base. I think this would be much better wall for DauT. I also understand that maybe he's trying to go for the safer route, but I'm not even certain if this is the safer route of walling. I would much rather be walling this right-hand side over here. Teutons indeed. Wait, did I miss Alien arrive? My apologies, Alien. DauT though, going to be finding some value on this farming eco. Even if he doesn't get a Vil pick right now, he's still getting the value of some idle time, but he does lose a scout in the process. And the eco KD is 1-0 in favor of TaToH. So TaToH so far playing slightly cleaner, although TaToH has lost an additional military unit. And TaToH also has the numbers advantage here. And also, Teutons have amazing farming eco. Like, Slabs have amazing farming eco going towards late game. Because Teuton farms are so cheap, you can seed so many of them. The only thing I don't like for TaToH right now is that he is playing relatively open. And against scouts and spears, it can be a little bit rough playing like that. We do see a Teuton tower coming down, but there's no... Oh my god, no! There's nothing escorting these villagers. The villagers are going to have to do a bit of a Vil fight here. They do have forging on TaToH's scouts, and of course his spears, and there are 6 spears on the field. Problem is, as he is open, he has to keep quite a few spears at home as well. With a bit of villager micro here, you can end up taking a decent fight against these spears and scouts. The thing is, now DauT knows the tower is coming, so does he... Where does he think the tower is going to go, I wonder? And there essentially is 9 villagers in this situation. Are used as 9 additional military units, which is quite entertaining. But the tower is going down, and once this tower goes down, it does give TaToH a constant area where it can apply pressure. They're going for the counter tower, but you do not want to counter tower this, I don't think. I actually think this is a bit of a misplay from DauT. This counter tower is most likely not going to go up before TaToH's counter tower goes up. The villagers are being forced to engage here, but once these 2 towers do go up, then TaToH's got the extra villagers here that will be able to... Never mind, but once villagers do go in, they would be able to take the tower down, but the fight went really bad for TaToH there. I'm not sure if it was a bit of a mis-microed fight, or what happened next. It looked like TaToH had the numbers to take that fight. And all of a sudden now, he's 6 villagers back and he's lost his map pressure. It looks like you were right, Furnace Lover. I think the counter tower made sense in the context of the fight he was taking, but I don't necessarily think that the fight should have gone as badly for TaToH, if that makes sense. It didn't look like the fight was going to go that badly until it did. DauT the first up to the castle age though, at 9 minutes and 30 seconds. TaToH will be clicking up somewhat soon, but he will be at a villager deficit. It is definitely a very important woodline. I would agree with you there. The only reason I didn't think he should counter tower though is because I didn't think he was going to win that fight. So I was thinking maybe just have to abandon there and go elsewhere. Hey, this is Scholar. Thank you for the follow. Did I hear about these Silver Boys? No, I did not, Sab. What is the Silver Boys? TaToH up about a minute later than DauT, so that does give DauT a nice window of opportunity to do some extra damage. Secondary stable coming down from DauT now. So he is going to be opening with double stable knights as these slabs. Teutons. I think that if I'm TaToH and I assume I'm up later than my opponent, I think I go for pikeman defense. He is still producing spearmen, so it does look like that's the play. But I definitely think this is the right line of play. I don't think that you can try and match knights, at least not in early castle age, after that initial situation. They're now Silver Legends. Oh, you're talking about us and the Shadow Legends coming second? I'm so happy about that. Maybe in case he loses that anyway because of the arena. That is true. It's kind of awkward either way, I think. We do see the spearmen doing somewhat okay here, but there's just not enough spearmen in this one area Second arm upgrade coming in for DauT now. And, oh, TaToH's woodline here is so uncomfortable. Like, wall it in? TaToH, you know knights are coming your way. You know it's happening. And you can't have your spears everywhere. I'm like 99.9% certain he wants a TC here, and that's why he's not dropping some quick walls. But it doesn't matter if you lose this area entirely. Like, he's gonna do this here. He will lose one villager over here. Maybe he's gonna get some quick walls. Oh, there's some villagers I can't watch. Pikeman coming in, +2 attack coming in first. Maybe because he wants to benefit the knights as well, but the villagers are being engaged upon. Oh, it just seems so greedy. I think if you wall this in, you can at least try and get the map control with the pikemen, and then drop the TC afterwards. But not having the map control here just seemed like a massive mistake by TaToH, who's now down to 38 villagers to DauT's 49. Military is also decently in favor of DauT. Well, it was in favor of DauT, and it did lose a few too many knights to that TC. This TC also taking another knight out. There's crap happening everywhere. There's a couple of scouts over here for TaToH, trying to be a little bit annoying. Second TC is down for DauT now, so at least he does have a secure woodline. But his golds still are pretty exposed. His stone is still very exposed. And the thing is that these knights, as they have +2 defense, there's no fletching on these TCs. They can dive through the fire. Try and get some build picks, and TaToH reacting a little bit late there, losing an additional 3 or 4 villagers. These knights is looking very rough for TaToH right now. The question is, can he stabilize? And then if he stabilizes, what does he do? But the GG is called DauT, taking the third win of the set for himself. Maybe add some monks with pike. I do think a couple of monks could have been decent. I just think that he played too greedy with this woodline. I think if he doesn't lose 3 or 4 villages there, he still has a chance. And that was in the initial trade, let alone the second lot of 3 or 4 villages that were lost here. And thank you for the follow, Arctic. You guys are giving me the hard names today. But I do appreciate your follows all the same. Sorry I haven't been keeping on top of the score on over there. But the score is currently 3-1 in favor of DauT. Now, Britons versus Lithuanians feels a little bit unusual for Arena. Britons are a pretty decent civ in Arena, and so are Lithuanians. But I presumed that TaToH would be reserving Lithuanians for Nomad. Now, in terms of how this civ matchup plays out, I think that Lithuanians have the tools to deal with Britons. They don't get siege ram, but they get amazing skirmishers. They get paladin. You get really good hussar as well for like a front line. So I think that they can deal with the Briton archers pretty decently. They also get bombard cannon to deal with Briton trebs. So I'm thinking maybe TaToH adapted his draft to suit this matchup if he assumed that DauT was going to be picking Britons. Obviously, I can't swear to it though. Let's fast forward a little bit to make sure we're called up to live, and we'll have a look at both players' maps real quick. So DauT in the blue has these Rutherford berries, usually not much of a consideration, unless we're talking about a tower rush, which doesn't happen too often in the arena. I wouldn't put it past TaToH to do something kind of crazy though, and I'd love to see it. And thanks for doing that, Nubis, I really appreciate it. He does also have this main gold forward, but he has quite a nice main stone and secondary gold in the back of his base. TaToH, on the other hand, though, does have his main gold and main stone in the front. He does still have this 4 tile of gold in the back, so it's not the worst possible map, but it is a little bit unfortunate, I will say. Now, in terms of how both players are going to want to place into Castle Age, I think with Britons, you go for a relatively standard crossbow play. You don't really get bottom, I think you get fletching. And you just try and deny the rights with the crossbow and spears. And I've seen this work quite a few times. Because normally the meta on Arena is to open with scouts to spears, and obviously crossbow and spears will win that fight. So then maybe does TaToH big brain it and go skirms? I don't think so. I don't know if that is the call or the right call, but it would be interesting to see if he does kind of 300 IQ it and just go for the skirmishes instead. And skirmishes can, if you can get to like, let's say 6 or 7 of them, they can also deal with monks as well. And then if you have a couple of spears with these skirms, the spears deal with the whatever number of scouts DauT makes, and the skirms deal with everything else. And thank you for the follow, Hattori. So, but weird thing here, maybe not even weird, but TaToH, instead of pushing his deer, he actually went and scouted for all of the relics first. At least it see. Okay, never mind, he didn't scout all of them. But he did go and start scouting for the relics initially. And then the other thing with the Lithuanians is, if you do get to +4 attack Cavalier or Paladin, they're amazing. But it's not necessarily necessary. Even securing 2, maybe even 3 relics with Lithuanians is still absolutely huge for your Knight line. So maybe is he looking to go for like the safer approach, get these 2 relics, maybe even a 3rd, and then not invest too much into the relic war and then try and take this to late? Again, I do really think the Lithuanians have the tools to deal with Britain late game, whereas a lot of other civs can struggle a little bit, especially civs that are lacking siege ram like the Lithuanians. But lacking siege ram, but having some of the best possible skirmishes in the game, I think it's very possible for the Lithuanians to deal with this. DauT getting a bit of scouting information in of his own. I think DauT will open with 1 range crossbow, probably 3 TC. And TaToH, I think, will probably go for relatively meta 2 TC, 1 stable, 1 monastery sort of play. And maybe if you're TaToH in that situation where your opponent does go for crossbow, you could even just go around and snipe the monks. Because the thing with crossbow and spear is that you do end up lacking the ability to protect your monks as easily. That could be very interesting. Hey Acius, how you doing? DauT isn't on the way up to the castle age just yet. It's a little bit of a later FC. I'm guessing it's like a 27 pop then. Okay, so 26 he did drop off. I had it queued behind villagers. I was like looking at his food count thinking, how is his food count so low? So he will be 2 villagers behind, wait, yeah, 2 villagers worth of time behind behind TaToH, sorry, I can't even speak. Which does mean that TaToH has a little bit more of a window opportunity to secure either the close relics, or to get the numbers in the field to secure the further relics. And again, the more relics that TaToH ends up securing, the better his chances at winning this game are. I do kind of think that maybe if DauT greeds a little bit too much into not adding enough halbs and whatnot, we could see TaToH going for that similar paladin play that he did with the humans, but actually getting away with it this time. TaToH even floating a bit of food here could actually probably get dull a bit, or clicking up to the next age. I actually don't know how much arena TaToH or even DauT played, to be quite honest, in terms of how they would both normally play it. Yeah, a double bit coming in now for TaToH. And DauT has 3 on gold right now, which to me, like, this might not seem significant, but to me this is definitely saying, and he's got the barracks on already, it's definitely going to be a range and a blacksmith. Weirdly enough for TaToH, he went for a market blacksmith up. A market blacksmith usually indicates that you are planning to just boom. You're not really planning to play much for relics. You maybe drop a monastery and try and secure the close ones. But without any pressure on the field, you can't secure these further relics. I think this one should be pretty easy to secure, even with just a scout and 1 monk. It's just going to be these ones closer to DauT that are going to be basically impossible. And then this also says to me that TaToH wants to take this to Imperial Age. If he's not going for the... Is he forwarding villages? Oh no. Is he going for like a monk siege? There's gonna be archers in the field. I don't know how to feel about this. He's going for a forward house. And now TaToH sees the archers. Does he bring the villagers back? Or does he try and sneak them off to the left-hand side? That could be very interesting. He's debating the scout over here. He's got the 2 archers following him as well. And then he uses this window of opportunity to send the 2 villagers off for a bit of a sneak. 5 on gold. It must be Siege Monk with 11 on wood, 5 on gold. Like, he maybe can still boom with it. Oh, and the bear wants a bit of the action here as well. Thanks so much, Nemesis. I really appreciate that. Have a look at these archers. There's 3 archers over here. The thing is that as TaToH made this house, like, I think if he didn't make the house here, he doesn't suspect anything's up. But because he sees the house, he now thinks, okay, well, I need to be a bit careful. And DauT's amazing game sense is going to cause him to send the scout over here. He now finds the sneak, I think. Yeah, he's finding it now. I think these go up just about. Is there Loom in? Loom is in. So these go up. The 2 forward villagers do tie it pretty miserably to these archers, spears, and the scout, which means you can't drop any more buildings as TaToH, at least not for the moment. I think he might have even been trying to do a cheeky wall and get his scout locked in here. And DauT with his own monastery. The only thing is in a monk war against Lithuanians, you are gonna lose due to them having fast reducing monks, and also Britons don't really get very good monks either. So I think the numbers here that are going to be the important part are the crossbows for DauT, and hopefully some pretty good micro. Sorry about that, my mouse sometimes spazzes out a little bit. So second TC going down for both players. I'm actually surprised to see, if you're going for Siege Monk, at least from what I've seen, it's usually a little bit of an all-in. It's not usually adding too much eco behind it. But this might even be a build that TaToH has kind of drummed up or something like that. But you do add the second TC and try and keep up in build numbers as well. I wish, Magi. It's, I'm not sure if you've ever had any problems with it, but it's the IQ software that Corsair mouses use. It's absolutely crap. I recommend Corsair for a lot of other things. I do not recommend them for mice. Is it that DauT up this game recently was TaToH lost his charge? I think DauT's playing extremely well in this set so far. I wouldn't say that TaToH has necessarily lost his touch. I don't think he's been... I think DauT in the past year has been just that amazing. Oh, excuse me, my voice is going. But I'm a little bit questioning of the play here from TaToH a little bit, because these are Britain crossbows. They do have 8 range with Bodkin. That's so irritating. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh no, my mouse is just completely disconnected. Never buy Corsair mice, people. Buy everything else from them, but not the mice. Oh, and my mouse is just frozen. I can use the... Nope. Scroll keys don't work either. Shit. A little bit of an unplanned problem. My mouse will not work. Stop it, I'm sorry. We can at least see some of the action going on right now. I have no idea how to fix my mouse right now. The scout getting a decent amount of damage, like taking one of those mangonels with the crossbows behind it, and DauT slowly pushing into TaToH's base. Unplug. I have unplugged it, and it's not loading at all. I have no idea why. I want to see the push. The push. You can use letters to move. I was trying to use the WASD keys and it didn't work. Okay. We're back in business, boys. We do see a stable here now for DauT. There is a couple of monks still here, though, so the monks will be able to convert these knights if they ever do come out. There are a decent number of crossbows in both positions, though, so TaToH is a little bit wedged in between the military from DauT. I don't like this position. There are 3 knights, though, and with 2 monks in the field, if you can get 2 conversions here, that could be huge, honestly. 2 conversions means that it increases the amount of military he has by quite a considerable amount. See the conversions coming in? The 3 mangonels? Oh, he doesn't even get 1. That is really rotten. Can he even get the crossbows here? That really sucks for TaToH. He does... Oh, TaToH calls it? He was dropping a 3rd TC. It wasn't looking good for TaToH, but I don't think it was over just yet. I was a little bit surprised by the strategy he went for, though. Damn. I really don't know. I know it was looking bad for TaToH. I know the win condition for him is now a little bit harder than it was before. But he can just drop a shit ton of farms and he can try and do a bit of a defense into Imperial Age and then try and push back out again. I think it was pretty over. True. Like, I think it was maybe like, there was like, maybe I'd say 10 to 15% chance of TaToH winning. But I don't think it was completely over just yet. Like, Boom, but he can't defend pressure. That's true. Because all of his buildings were forward. He even made a second siege workshop forward. So it will be Spanish versus Malians or Nomad. I don't think anyone is too surprised by these 2 civs here. Malians are pretty much one of the top two meta picks on Nomad. I really would have loved to have seen TaToH saving Lithuanians for here, if I'm 100% honest. I think that it makes a little more sense to have Spanish on Arena and Lithuanians on Nomad, because I don't... Spanish are good on Nomad, but I don't think they're like... Actually, they have the faster building. Maybe they are pretty close top tier on Nomad as well. Didn't really think that through. What civs would you guys prefer to see on each map? Would you prefer to see Lithuanians on Nomad, or do you think that the Lithuanians on Arena were the better choice based on TaToH's civ draft? I'm actually very undecided right now. DauT is going to be getting that early fishing ship out though. This is one of the nice parts about playing the Persians or the Malians. You can do a dock, a TC, a house, and a fishing ship at the very beginning. Oh, sorry, I haven't actually updated the draft. Give me 1 second. What a pleb I am. Let's update that. Thanks for pointing that out, PPC. How are you doing today? That is true, Nemesis. The only reason I was thinking of Lithuanians is because you have the extra 150 food. You can send all of your initial villagers to wood, and then you can like still pump villagers out. Have fun, Skarthik. Won't be too much action happening for the moment. We're just gonna make sure we're caught up to live. And of course, DauT will have a 1 fishing ship lead for basically the rest of Dark and Feudal Age. That is part of the bonuses of being Malians here. Whereas the Spanish do seem to actually be able to get an additional villager out though, due to their faster TC being down. And then in terms of both players playing the map, I honestly kind of prefer TaToH here. Like, TaToH's very good at his shenanigans and all-ins. And I think with Conks, he could do something really nasty here. Well, pretty nice for him. Maybe not so much for DauT. I also don't really know what the best counter unit for conks is as Malians. Like, skirmishes obviously are fine, crossbow and castle age are fine. But later on, do you still want to be going for no bracer arb against crossbow? Sorry, against Conquistador again, or do you want to do the skirm still? How do you want to play this in Imperial Age? That's good to hear, PPC. Looks like TaToH's managed to secure himself 2 balls so far. He's even clicking up pretty early if he's getting Loom at this time. I don't think he can click up though. Maybe Loom... I'm not sure why he's getting Loom at this point. Oh, okay, it's for this. Completely missed him. He's going for this 3rd ball. It's a bit of a long distance. And Loom is the safe option. You can also do some silly micro with the houses to stop the boars from pathing. And instead of the villager taking this path, the villager takes this path. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. Camel skirm would be very interesting. And the only way I think for Spanish to deal with that would realistically be champion, right? Am I going crazy, or is there any... Maybe Halb Siege, actually. Halb Siege or champion, I think are your 2 options in that situation. So 3rd ball coming in for TaToH. I think DauT is luring his 2nd or 3rd as well. Didn't see if he got a 3rd one in already, but he did have that eco lead from the water already. He's got 6 fishing ships to TaToH's 5. TaToH's done a really good job of keeping his dock running, whereas DauT's stopped at the 6. Is that a meta number for Nomad? I'm not 100% certain, but he is now adding an additional fishing ship. I think if TaToH gets away with an FC conks and DauT doesn't either punish it by going for feudal aggression or by getting the numbers of camels and skirms that he needs to in Castle Age, I think TaToH's in a very good spot. Excuse me, got hiccups.
See?
I'm not sure what this village is doing. Maybe exploring for additional resources? I think you normally send your sheep to do this. I didn't realize that you might still send a villager out as well. Okay, going for a 2nd dock for a little more efficiency. DauT going for a 2nd dock over here though. Have a look at both players scouting actually. Then TaToH doesn't know where DauT is just yet. But DauT has a pretty good idea. Because he's on this little circle around TaToH's area, he knows he's roughly over here. He's most likely not over here, and he sees the dock placement. He's gonna actually do a dock over here. And he's gonna play for feudal water aggression. TaToH, on the other hand, is just looking to FC here. I don't know, like 8 fishing ships is a lot to lose, but I'm not entirely certain how much he cares if he loses these fishing ships. At least in the short term. It's more if he loses access to this stone, that's a bit more of a trouble. And what is this? That is the most forward to barracks that DauT could place, and it's not even in range of the TC's line of sight. That is a hilarious Rax from our Lord and Savior. Yeah, TaToH's unfortunately, because the mouse software is very glitchy, I don't always know how to fix it. Thank you for the follow, Wiseby. It is a Malian barrack, so it is a bit cheaper. But this is just, like, he didn't know exactly where the TC was, but this is the sort of barracks you make as a 105. You don't really make it as your initial one. Does DauT see the stone? Look, he sees the stone locations. He's even going for an outpost around here. I think this could go very messy very quickly for TaToH, especially if he's not planning on dropping a tower on this stone area. That being said, so far TaToH has kept access to all 8 of these fishing ships. The 2 flyer ships will be out pretty soon. And a tower here for... That tower is brutal. So this tower not only denies the wood line, it also denies the stone. Now let's see how much information this outpost doesn't really get much other than the fact that there's a tower here. And this is when you kind of send a lot of villagers as an archer on the field. It doesn't have fletching, so these villagers can sit underneath some arrow fire for at least some amount of time. But with the villagers coming here for DauT as well, he's now building that tower and going to place it somewhere else. Maybe over here to try and deny the stone from this side. And then TaToH is sort of forced into dropping a secondary tower over here as well. Yeah. It does have the extra pierce armor as well. But it wasn't dropping the racks for the purposes of longswords. He was dropping the racks so he could get the range. It seemed a little bit unnecessarily risky. But TaToH is managed to keep 7 of his fishing ships alive and still working somewhat decently. So his eco is not doing as bad as he could be, and he's just going to this corner, trying to avoid getting caught by these fire ships. Fletching coming in now for DauT. He's going to try and be annoying on the wood lines. I think this is the best case scenario for DauT in Feudal Age, but once TaToH gets to Castle Age and gets some conks out, he's going to be forced into a very messy tower defense. Oh, these fishing ships are about to sing the last hurrah if they're coming back with some food. Maybe, does TaToH care here? I wasn't certain. He is currently denied a little bit of gold. There is a couple of archers that's being annoying where it's placed in his tower. And TaToH won't be able to drop a castle very quickly. It'll take him quite a while. And in the meantime, his food eco is going to be hampered by these 2 fire ships. So it is a little bit rough for TaToH right now, but I think that if he gets the castle up early enough here, I think he's in still a pretty decent spot. Going for a war galley upgrade, okay. I was not expecting this. He's actually going to be playing water here. And war galley upgrade for the to make the fire galleys into fire ships is pretty decent. I do think you need more than 2 though. I think you need at least 3 or 4 to deal with this number. Because numbers are more important. At least at this point, I would say. Thank you for the follow, Trip or Bust. Is he gonna count the tower again? Nice little bit of micro from DauT, just kind of being annoying and looking for damage wherever possible with these 2 archers. The tower over there, obviously, getting a value on that wood line. And TaToH actually hasn't dropped a tower and a wood line yet, so he could be fully denied off of wood. Especially with his tower encroaching a little bit. I think a tower here... You can't really get up with the tower here, that's a problem. So I say a tower here basically denies TaToH off of wood entirely. But due to this tower here, I think he's pretty safe in that little bit of wood over here. DauT now up to the next age, and I think he's kind of avoided the possible disaster that could have been TaToH getting up with a relatively early uptime and then going straight into conks. So I definitely think that DauT's in a pretty dominant position. Still got the 8 fishing ships working, and a bit of quite a bit of wood, gold, and food eco on land as well. They're not really taking any chances. So where do you drop this castle as TaToH? Do you drop it near the stone because you've already got the villagers there? Do you drop it into the gold and the wood line over here? Where do you kind of want to drop it? You can also try and get it on this horrible hill over here, but I think that's a little bit too risky. I honestly think I would either do it here or I would do it here. Probably where this outpost is actually. So I just need to turn the fan off. I was getting a little bit cold. Right? It's gonna be... So I don't like this castle. Where's he gonna place it? It gets rid of this tower. And it sort of protects the gold and it protects the wood. Do I think this is the best castle? Not certain. 1 villager going down, maybe even a second one very soon. Yep, 2 villagers go down for TaToH. Is that a 3rd villager? I think that's a 3rd villager going down for TaToH. DauT does get this castle up. It will give him back access to this woodline over here. And it will keep this gold relatively safe, at least from crossbows on their own. I think if I'm DauT here, I kind of just boom it up a little bit. But then you also do have to be very wary of the oncoming conquistadors. You don't want to undermake the military. Hey Grills, I'm doing good. How are you doing today? It was a bit of a surprising Nomad map actually. It also didn't seem to have too much of the... Usually I complain about Nomad because it's a lot of RNG involved. But the RNG actually seems sort of okay for both players. And TaToH now selling stone for gold. I was expecting him to try and get the stone for another castle. From the Nomad games I have seen, I'm expecting TaToH to try and get to a point where he has the conks on the field, tries to drop maybe a forward siege workshop, and then drops more and more castles in his face. There we go, that's the siege workshop. Look at that. 300 IQ predictions and DauT losing 3 villages kind of for free on this town center. It's not even more than the one conquistador here at the moment. There are more conquistadors coming and reinforcing here for TaToH. And 6 crossbows, a couple of which are weak, won't deal with this next wave of conquistadors. I do believe we have +1 defense in already. Siege Bishop is out. Its town center is going to go up. But DauT definitely losing a little bit of that position he had. He still has these 6 fishing ships, but he's actually kind of overcommitted to water here. TaToH has still tried redocking, but 11 fire ships, when you're already kind of winning water, does feel like a tiny bit of an overcommitment from DauT, which may explain why his land military numbers are a little bit on the lower end. Yeah, fair enough, Triple Bust. It's the grand final tonight, I believe, right? Mangonel coming up from TaToH now, and he will be able to pressure this TC. These conquistadors do not have bloodlines just yet, but no ballistics in for DauT either, so I think with a bit of fancy micro, TaToH can do really well here. Is this going to be guard tower defense from DauT? Looking like guard tower defense. Guard towers are very good against rams, especially if you can get a tower like this. It's going to be very hard for TaToH to push this. The monk goes down, but the thing is that the conks have mobility. But yeah, the guard tower defense can actually be a little bit rough. You need rams to deal with guard towers, or you need to get up to the Imperial Age. I think maybe if you get like 5 mangonels, you can maybe deal with the 1 guard tower. But I don't necessarily think that's a winning trade. Guildnet's now coming in for our Lord and Savior. DauT actually buying the stone for another guard tower over here. This one's a little bit more risky though. Like, it's the safest one he can... Or 2 villagers go down. It's the safest one he can do if he wants a guard tower over here. But it's not safe, really. I would probably try and creep maybe here. Another villager going down. I think this is where the guard towers go. I think this one might happen. TaToH actually selling more stone, getting bloodlines. I was not expecting him to sell more stone. I honestly was expecting him to go for another forward castle. I don't actually think he sees this tower going up. Why is he still going for the TC? The problem is once this tower is up, it now means that TaToH can't really pressure this TC as easily. Oh, and ballistics came in quite quickly for DauT there, partially thanks to that Malian University bonus. The TC does go down low. And then what is the play for both of these players now? DauT has done a very good job of stalling the push, and he is up 10 villages right now. Although he is pretty badly housed. A second TC now going down for TaToH. Is he maybe thinking of just macroing his way to the Imperial Age? And DauT, that housing is actually really bad for him. Another guard tower on this woodland though, so it will deny any more value from over here. Maybe with the Conquistadors, I was gonna say maybe you could try and be annoying with them and try and out micro ballistics the guard towers. I don't know if that's necessarily a good idea, but it could be interesting. And DauT now going for that really heavy fish boom, as he has one water. This one fire galley though from TaToH is still on the prowl a little bit, and could find some decent value. And TaToH going for the round to clear this archery range and possibly guard tower afterward. 3 TC from TaToH. DauT producing from 5 docks by the looks of things. And I mean, that's gonna get him a very decent eco lead on water. The only downside to using so much fishing eco is that long term your economy is slightly less efficient, and in the short term it's also less balanceable because you can only have those units on fish. Thank you for the follow, Alamer. It will be 4 TC from TaToH though to try and get some eco in. I think that if TaToH gets away with this, I think that would be a really good play for him. Get that eco going. But DauT could retaliate with a forward castle, or even just a forward guard tower creep could be interesting. There are a few crossbows in this tower. Gotta be careful not to kill your own ram here though. Oh, okay. Never mind. Who cares about the ram anyway? The ram has served its purpose. And you can see here that even though those individual guard towers don't really do that much, they do slowly increase DauT's field of control. Some camels now coming out from DauT. Another guard tower over on this stone gold with this TC soon. I think TaToH is pretty okay with just letting DauT have the map control for the moment. You even see TaToH going for his own watchtower here. Maybe he will also get guard tower going on in this game. Thanks for the follow, RichDX2. Trying to work out what you would do as TaToH here. Because DauT's going to be the first Imperial Age, and he's going to have a very solid economy behind the Imperial Age. And DauT's even selling some wood to get for a faster Imperial here. There are 5 mangonels in the field, so this is kind of what I was saying. The magic number is sort of 5 mangonels, and you can start taking out these guard towers. Now again, not sure if this is winning per se, or if this is just the best you can do. Clean the guard towers. But it could be a bit messy here for DauT with these 5 mangonels if they get enough value. Gotta be a little bit careful because if you even lose one of them, you lose your pressure. Now all of a sudden, I'm not sure if it makes sense to add those 4 TCs. Oh man, there's 1 mangonel in the field. These 3 villagers are a little bit fearful for their life. And 1 mangonel goes down for TaToH. I think DauT's got this one as well. In spite of the possible overcommitment to the water initially, I think that it's going to be a very hard game for TaToH to win with the amount of map control DauT now has and the army composition. Even though there's only 4 camels in the field at the moment, there will be a lot more on the way pretty soon. We have +1 defense coming in. And the window of opportunity, I think, for TaToH was whilst DauT was on the way to Imperial Age. This gets significantly worse the longer the game goes on, considering the economy difference for both players. The conks do somewhat deal with these camels though, especially in small numbers. 1 conk goes down though, and 1 mangonel goes down as well. TaToH's losing all of his forward pressure, and it's not looking good for him right now. I think TaToH sees Imp and he calls the GG here. I really don't know what you can do here in this situation. Guard tower now coming in for TaToH. Maybe he could do some guard tower defense of his own. It is a little bit more tricky against an Imperial Age enemy, but DauT doesn't have a castle just yet, so there will not be any trebuchets coming out just yet. And again, Conks versus Camels is a bit of a weird matchup where the Conks, they do so much damage that a lot of the Camel health goes in that initial volley. So you have to be careful about how many Camels you're sending in to fight. You need a lot of them. But once the Camels are able to engage, it is very, very hard for the Conks in that situation. But DauT is adding an additional TC, looking for more of an eco lead. I'm surprised he's trying to push his imp advantage here as so much. We're gonna see probably 1 or 2 Conks going down, but all of the Camels going down. And it's just not enough Camel numbers. It looked like a really nice attempt at kind of a flanking formation between the 2 Camel. But even though DauT has the early Imperial Age, he's not really able to do much with it currently. Although TaToH's farming eco is looking a little bit shaky at best. He has 43 on wood and only 17 on food and only 9 on gold. So it's not looking like a Imperial Age click up time anytime soon. But he is able to get the eco going quite decently here with these 5 TCs. Yes, Salmon, you did indeed. My favorite map of them all. I would not rather play anything than play Nomad. Bloodlines now coming in for those Camels. No wonder that fight looks so good for the Conquistadors. But there's only 13 Conquistadors on the field. That being said, only 6 Camels. It's still very much in favor of TaToH. DauT, though, dropping a castle on this left-hand TC and gold. Monks coming out for TaToH. Maybe we'll see some donks. Although I think that Camels will get a bonus against donks, right? Am I going crazy? I'm pretty sure they would do. +2 defense now coming in for DauT. But +2 defense against Conquistadors doesn't really do that much that I'm aware of. Maybe it allows them to survive 1 additional hit each. That could be good as a cumulative effect. These 2 men gonna stay alive by some miracle and are kind of pressuring DauT on this right-hand TC. Castle over here for TaToH. Unrepentant access to the stone. The Treb will come out and it will be causing a few headaches for TaToH. Possibly Chorus nothing over Nomad. Very possibly. I think the problem here for TaToH is holding. And if his gold access is pretty limited, he does have this gold over here. I think he just needs to send like 20 of these villagers to food and gold. Wood villagers to food and gold. I think he would have been okay. I think he maybe is just a tad overwhelmed. That's why he hasn't got the wood balancing right now. Because it is quite a large wood float at the moment. Camels engaging onto the Conquistadors. The Camels also gonna get a Mangonel over here. The Treb gonna be punching through that castle. I think that this is when DauT just wins the game. +4 defense now coming in for TaToH as well. These Conquistadors are gonna be doing even less damage. And a somewhat full, I wouldn't say forward castle, but it is another good one for map control on a nice little hill. Don't really see a win condition for TaToH right now. Maybe he'd try and do some kind of shenanigans. TaToH rather curiously building a TC on this stone. Don't think he can really do anything with that though. And the camel is gonna go behind the Conquistadors, and oh man, yeah, GG is called. That's rough. So far, DauT taking the set so far, 5-1. There is a play all 9 set though, so we will still be seeing 3 games. ZeroZabias, were you ready for co-cast by the way? I'm really sorry. This game started so quickly that I almost forgot you meant to be co-casting with me. Did you lose your 10 points? You actually won those 10 points. Yeah, DauT is having an amazing day. I don't necessarily think that TaToH's having a bad day, but I do think TaToH has had better days. You're already in Discord? I'm so sorry, Zab. I've been so lost in this set. So we do have DauT playing the Mongols. No surprises there based on their remaining civs. And TaToH playing as the Berbers. And again, I do really think that Mongols have a very good window of opportunity and feudals to do some damage with that earlier uptime, the insane hunting bonus, which is obviously very prevalent on Serengeti. But then after that, Berbers are definitely the civ I prefer to have. Like in Castle Age, Mongols don't have the best Castle Age as it is. And against a civ that has cheap camels and cheap knights, I think it can be a little bit rough for the Mongols. And then we haven't even got to camel archers later in the matchup either.
Yeah, this is actually one of the biggest counter picks that I see all the time on Serengeti, because people know players like to go for that Mongols hunt bonus and will pick Berbers to counter pick it because they are such a strong civ against the Mongols, one of the best.
And thank you for the follow, Omar. I really appreciate it. Again, I think that DauT will know this as well. I think that if he can get the damage done in Feudal Age, it doesn't really matter how this matchup plays up for the rest of the game. So I think we'll see DauT go for maybe an 18 or a 19 pop Scouts build. Berber's probably closer to the 19-20 pop. And then we'll see how both players go from there. TaToH already actually walling quite a bit. So maybe wanting to avoid a little bit of the Feudal Age messiness that is usually very prevalent on Serengeti. One of my favorite parts about it. Don't ruin it for me.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm looking at it. He has not too hard of a wall off here.
Considering it's Serengeti, I would agree with you, although it only takes one hole, and it is still quite a bit of few palisades on this left-hand side. So the right-hand side is very easy to wall off, but the left-hand side, if he's going for full wall Serengeti, it's going to take a lot of investment here.
Yeah. Well, the good thing, he doesn't have to touch that right wood line for a while because that one in the back is absolutely massive. That's where he's thrown his first lumber camp and all.
That's actually probably the best lumber camp I've ever seen on Serengeti, right? If I'm 100% right? honest. There's even an extended version of the wood line behind that with the baobab trees.
I wish he would have thrown the mill on the other side of the berries to even help with the wall, though, looking at that. Because I am curious to see if TaToH can hold off the Mongol aggression.
It's looking like it's going to be a 21 pop build from so I think it makes sense for that little bit of extra walling. I don't think you can get quite as early of an uptime, even with all of the hunt. And then I think what I would do if I was TaToH is open up with quite a few spears initially whilst I'm getting my stable up. 2-3 spears, get spears on my woodline, get spears on my berries, and then slowly try and match these scout numbers.
Absolutely. And I think TaToH is going to, DauT is going to predict that as well. Obviously, when you predict that kind of matchup, you send some of your own spears forward to take on the opponent's spears.
DauT's not going for scouts. He's going straight archers. We've got 3 on gold. Mill's in the barracks now, so it's not definitely going to be better arms because the barracks is up too late. Is this 300 IQ? Or is this 0 IQ? I think it's a bit 300 IQ. Hey Nubis, thanks so much for the gift sub to Magi, I appreciate it.
So let's think about this for a minute too. Right now, look at TaToH's scouting. He has not been to DauT space, so he has no clue, besides maybe based on the timing and not seeing scouts, what he's up to.
I also didn't realize before, I actually skipped Loom on the way up, which is a bit risky, but I like it. Thank you so much, Nubis. I appreciate it, man. The thing is that Spear and Archer, I don't think that TaToH's ready for that. Like, I think he's ready to play very meta Scout Spear. But as soon as he finds this range, or as soon as another Archer is forward, I do think he'll make the appropriate response. And I think initially you can kind of get away with that, kind of throwing a few more Scouts at your problem. But in the long run, you will need to drop a range. And he sees the range now. Let's try and look for the response. It looks like he's actually going for heavier walls, more so than the range. That is an option. I'm not sure if it's the option I would go for initially. Because 1 or 2 archers, even with no fletching, if you've got a couple of spears with them, you're never dealing with them with scouts. Maybe you can send a couple of villagers to help.
But TaToH has to be caught so off guard by this because DauT not getting Loom put his uptime closer to the 19 pop of what you would do with the scouts. So that's like another level of fuckery for against TaToH that he's like, what?
For lack of a better term, we should say. And you can even see there's this one spear here for TaToH, obviously expecting the scouts play. Fletching now coming in for DauT. We do see these rather big walls coming up though. And this is one of the less ideal situations I think that DauT could be in, unless there's a... That's not a hole, is it?
I'm trying to click trees, but they won't let me.
I don't think it's a hole. I think it's
No.
like, it looks almost like a hole, and he is dropping a range now. And the advantage here for TaToH is that DauT is still open at the moment. So these few scouts can find value that can be annoying. They can go and attack woodlines and force villagers to idle. And as long as he does still have somewhat of an open front, the scouts can just kind of go in whenever they please and avoid spears. A nice little re-walls from TaToH behind the initial walls. So I think that TaToH's had a good response here. That was some nice little quick walls to avoid any scout damage though.
Yeah, so far. And I'm wondering though, the investment so far that DauT has put in versus TaToH. I say, yeah, TaToH would be in a better position because those archers have fletching, added quite a few spears as well. Now defensive spears and archers at home. So we should see TaToH getting the castle age first, in my opinion, and he's gonna have that spike of knights right then.
The only thing is that, so normally I think DauT would have the better economy here because obviously when you're producing archers, it's not usually as bad in your economy as producing skirms. But because TaToH was originally doing a scout build and didn't adapt it into a little bit later, possibly a little bit on the greedier end, he did get more of that farming eco down. So he should actually have a slightly better uptime, as you were saying. But normally, I don't necessarily think that would have been the case if he hadn't originally been going for a scout build. Now, do you think we should send those skirms forward?
I would usually say no. It's too easy. The whole group can just get picked off by one scout.
And there's no... I think if you have fletching on them... He's dropping a blacksmith right now. So I think if you have fletching on them, I actually would consider sending them forward with these scouts. Not only for scouting information, but also so you can try and slowly whittle down the archer numbers. So I think that based on what DauT's doing here, I think he will stay on archers for at least some amount of time. I guess it is one way of dealing with the Berbers though. Like if you go crossbow and kind of skip the whole I die to Berbers having better cavalry, well then you're in an okay position.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of disagree. I feel like we kind of agreed that TaToH will probably be up first, or should have been up first. And so if he's going to have that knight power spike, they're going to overwhelm the crossbows, and then DauT has to play defensively from there on.
And you do not want to be playing defensive as Mongols in the situation.
No.
Hey Ocean,
So
how you doing? And good night, Grillas.
Night, guys. Yeah, I think DauT's got something to overcome here, and I'm not sure exactly what he could have planned.
I still like the initial crossbow plan though, but the thing is, if you go for crossbow and then go for like crossbow pike, it does make it very unsatisfying to be going, well, at least full knight, so you have to go like skirm knight in that situation. But it does seem like DauT is dropping a stable now. Maybe he's either doubling down for some more scouts in Feudal Edge, or he's been clicking up. I think based on his resources, we can safely assume he's going to be clicking up here. But I don't think you really want to be going for a scouts war against, sorry, a knight's war against Berbers, to be honest. Maybe is this for CA? I think CA initially can be fine against Berbers. It's just when do you transition out of them? Or do you just try to overwhelm your opponent before they get to that mass of camels or knights they need?
I mean, we've seen DauT play CA so much. Perhaps that's just his unit here. Perhaps there isn't like...
This is the motive.
Yeah, there isn't like a right choice necessarily for him. And he hopes to just use some mobility to gain him time, which could be a possibility.
The thing
So
is, normally I would say this
defensive,
would work. It's just that the woodlines for TaToH are so rigged.
yeah. But does DauT know that? Not too much. So he only saw a portion of that back woodline. So he doesn't know that it's so deep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my idea. If he goes into CA, it's because he wants to try to keep pressure at TaToH's base, delay until the Mongols have a better chance in the game, and kind of just weather the storm for a bit.
I think if I'm TaToH here, I go double stable and drop 2 TCs and macro my way up to like either a late Castle Age push or an early Imperial Age push. Because the only kind of, I guess you could call it, breathing room for Mongols is once they get to siege. Before that point, Mongols kind of suck in this matchup from Castle Age onwards. But once they get to decent amounts of siege, especially drill siege, that's when you can find yourself in a bit of a pickle as the Berber player.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So upgrades so far.
Oh, sorry, continue.
Upgrades so far for the Knights, just +1 defense. So they can't fight the crossbows currently. That's all I had to input right there.
Siege Workshop going down low from TaToH. Really good response on both players going to 3 TC straight away. So I like this for DauT especially because he's already got the map control by using these crossbows somewhat aggressively. And then, but the thing is, as soon as a siege and knight composition kind of comes up from TaToH, I think that he's in such a good position where the 3 TC could end up getting punished.
The 3 TC for DauT, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for TaToH this absolutely makes sense. There's no chance in hell I wouldn't be opening a double stable triple TC as TaToH here, I don't think. I do think DauT's making the right call. I just think it's very risky. And going for camel crossbow though, that's a very interesting composition against the Berbers. Hey Omar, I usually play AoE2, but I sometimes do mix up with a little bit of variety here and there. I honestly think TaToH should have better numbers by now. I'm a little bit surprised with the low numbers he has.
Yeah, he's such low res. He has low numbers. He has low upgrades. He can't take this fight at all right now.
And the thing is, the camels, like, yes, they haven't got bloodlines. Yes, they haven't really got any upgrades at all. But you still don't want to be fighting them with the knights on of their own accord. Yeah,
because the knights still don't even beat the crossbows. I mean, maybe the numbers here can win them that fight alone, but the crossbows and the camel mix.
Okay, I think with 1 or 2 monks here, I do think +2 defense is necessary as well. But I think +2 defense, yep, and 1 monk, I think you clean this entire army. Especially with the 2 scorpions behind it. Thank you for the follow, JFK. I had to read that twice. I don't know if I like that TaToH is kind of pressuring this army to move away from the walls at the moment, though. I'd kind of just let them hit the wall for a little bit longer whilst I'm waiting for +2 defense. But he is looking to try and pick off some reinforcements by the looks of things.
Yeah. No patrol though, or maybe there it is.
Yeah, Knights have such terrible field of view that they often don't patrol into things.
Oh, you say that, but you watch my Knight Mass walk into a castle chasing one archer.
They only need to see that one archer, but as soon as they see it, then they're just gone for life.
Yeah. Fantastic. So we do have the +2 obviously on these knights, and now pretty good numbers: 16 to 24 military, 24 for DauT.
And the Bloodblind's upgrade coming in, but no +1 defense, but decent engagement onto these Scorpions at least, and the one Monk. I would love to see TaToH kind of prioritizing +1 attack. So normally the attack upgrades aren't huge, but when you're facing camels, the attack upgrades become a little bit more important if you are planning to go for mostly knights. I think as TaToH is planning to go for mostly knights, I think the play here is try and take a good enough fight that you can start going raid all over DauT space, as he has gone to his 4th TC. What a boomer. It's also very heavy on stone, so we'll be looking for Magnudai pretty damn soon. Even buying the res for a castle, and then where do you... I was actually going to say, do you think it goes to the front? Or do you think it goes to the right-hand side of the space? But based on the deleted mill, I'm going to say it's going in the front. DauT, in the meantime, securing himself 1 relic. We do know that the GL players love to get their relics.
Yeah. TaToH does have 1 secured in his base, so good luck getting that one down.
And DauT's Monk here is not going to survive unless the Knights path terribly. And this is kind of what we were saying, that if DauT withers a storm here, gets to Imperial Age, gets some siege on the field, maybe even just goes for Arbor. I don't even know if Magnudai is the be-all and end-all. He's going for some right now. But I think long term, if you go for Arb, it could even be justified here with Arb Siege. Maybe Hussar? I think that could do pretty decently there.
So yeah, and I'm looking at this right now. So, okay, TaToH is heavy stone now. So he should be getting some camel archers out on the field here soon. But why didn't we see more aggression? Why didn't we see that 2 TC, 2 stable kind of push early on?
I'm not entirely certain myself, but we will see TaToH clicking up to Imp pretty soon, and DauT as well by the looks of things. And then in Imperial Age, it's just kind of awkward because the Magnudai can snipe your siege. It's so irritating. Because as the Berbers in that situation, not because the Magnudai don't dive really hard to camel archers or even massed camels, but it's more to do with the fact that it is just super frustrating when your siege just keeps getting sniped, so you can't actually end up pushing them, so it becomes a bit of a stalemate.
But the Magnudai have been slowed down a little bit, so they'll take just a little bit more damage as they try to snipe that siege, which could be pretty big. We'll have to see. Man, look at this.
That's a castle. It's a second or even third castle. Actually, third castle today we've seen from TaToH. Maybe a little bit on the questionable end. Usually I expect to see DauT dropping these castles, and I expect TaToH to drop similarly aggressive, but not this aggressive castles. Big engagement in the front, but it's under castle fire, and the villagers are slowly getting picked off.
Yeah, I was literally just about to ask too. I was like, okay, so he's getting the stone. This is a wide open map, and he knows he's going to be prone to raiding from Magnudai. Where is he going to place his castles? Here? Here? What?
The funny thing here is, though, if this castle goes up, it means DauT can't produce Magnudai from this. He has to produce Trebs from this castle. It also makes it very awkward for him to push this position because it is uphill from his castle. I think if TaToH gets a second or even third castle in the same area, kind of what DauT's doing now, doubling down with his castle, I think it becomes a very, very hard position for DauT to push, and then it becomes about DauT having to use his mobility with Mangudai and Hussar. I really would like to see TaToH drop in that second castle, with all that stone magged up.
Look at the left side of the map. TaToH's monk walking with a relic, and DauT's monk was just standing over there all sad because the relic got taken away.
Okay, second castle now going down for TaToH. Maybe a little bit on the later end. 2 trebs coming out for DauT. And you have to kind of favor DauT's position for the next maybe minute and a half, just due to how late the second castle is going down.
Yeah, honestly, this could be super punishing, and I don't like the second castle placement. I hated the first, if I'm being honest, because yes, DauT is up first. I don't know if TaToH thought he was going to be up first, but if this castle goes down, now you have less ways to produce counters to the Mangudai. The Mangudai are going to run around. They're going to raid all your wood lines, your siege, and you're not going to be able to get those counter units out to slow that down or to prevent that. You're going to have to make skirms, and they're just not going to be able to keep up with the Mangudai.
I think something interesting here though, Zav, is that I don't like that TaToH sending his knights back. I actually would be using the knights here and sniping the trebs. I think that that's the play here. Go get the trebs out of your own. Go and start killing this castle, and if you can start sniping these trebs, this is already an uphill battle trying to fight against a castle that's uphill from yours.
Yeah, but look at this damage already from DauT. DauT hitting the gold line of TaToH on the right side. The Cavalier just helplessly chasing these Mangudai around as they got so much damage there.
Oh no,
and now
TaToH's out of stone. He's not repairing, he's not buying the stone. He's just going to lose this castle.
Because, like, yeah, I think you're right. He could have used the Cavalier here to go snipe those trebs, keep his castle position, but because he had no camel archers, because of the late castles, he couldn't prevent the damage back elsewhere. Maybe that was the case where he said, I'm going to lose those villas anyways. I go for the treb here.
So interestingly, the Mangudai, because they're not elite yet, are taking a long time to kill these trebs. At least one treb going down, but a lot of Mangudai dying in the process. And now there's an exposed treb here, maybe even 2 exposed trebs that are going to be dying to these Cavalier. And these Cavalier are dirt cheap for the Berbers. There's 24 in the field right now. And DauT's not really that close to elite Mangudai based on his resources. And you do want elite in this situation.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see here what DauT can do with his group of Mangudai, if he's going to get other military units out on the field.
I'm a little bit surprised to not see TaToH taking his second stone. I really think that's actually a big mistake here, because yes, you did lose the one castle. You actually traded, I think, a good castle here, because now it kind of puts DauT on the back foot of defending. But at the same time, I would have loved to have seen another castle being able to go in this position. We do see Bodkin, elite Camel Archer, coming in now. Maybe a touch on the late end, especially as he's only on the one castle. And at this point, I think I would double down on the Cavalier for the moment. We do also see elite Mangudai, light cav, +1 defense, and conscription coming in for DauT.
Yeah, and that... Sorry, I was just going to agree, like, why didn't he go onto stone to get another castle back up?
Maybe he forgot it was there, because I have been in that situation where like, where's my other stone, where's my other stone? And you look for it, you can't find it. And then you have to look back at your army. But this might be 1600 elo issues, not 2k3 issues.
Yeah. But TaToH now using the Cavalier, getting into DauT's base. Not too much damage coming of it yet.
There's not really... I mean, there is a few farms at the back that are exposed. But I would be saving light cap this. I don't think I'd be wasting Cavalier numbers here.
Do you see what we have from TaToH? Did you mention that already?
Genitals!
Genitor.
Oh my god, it looked like Camel Archer because it has the same image.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Genitor is slightly more reliable here though, to be honest, because he's not got the castle numbers. The Cavalier are in the back causing some hassle, but mainly attacking farms.
Yeah, mainly so. And yeah, interesting.
We really need to see the +4 defense of these Genitals though, because they're currently melting horrendously to these Mangudai. But the Cavalier are doing some pretty decent damage though in the end. And DauT even taking these shorefish on that pond. He is getting pressured on the front on this castle. He really does not want to be losing these castles. And then long term, if TaToH can kind of get map control again, and then go for like a late game composition, I'm guessing Camel Archer Hussar, I think that's his best possible position to be in. I think the Genitals are kind of transitionary here.
DauT's map control is superb right now. You can see he's all the way across the map on that gold. He's also built stables for raiding with Hussar and the outpost down that line. Like, this is looking spooky for TaToH.
I also just have to point out that this stone taking right now is a little bit upsetting because there's 20 villagers there, but none of them are actually able to mine stone. But another castle at the front going down for DauT, and the thing is that currently TaToH's not relying on his castles for production. DauT is, and every castle we lose hurts his late game more and more.
Yeah, so now perhaps this starts to swing back into TaToH's favor. TaToH can make the Cavalier, he can have the Genitor, which are still mobile, and the Cavalier will wipe up the Hussar and leave, you know, DauT just running around.
I'm not sure on this castle though. I would much rather see it placed in the farming eco than forward. I understand this castle, it's wanting to get the control of the wood line. And long term you do want control of these wood lines, but usually I would reserve this castle either for picking up additional resources, because there's a lot of additional resources on Serengeti. These 2 tile and of gold and 3 tiles of stone. But, or I would place it in my farming eco where I am dealing with Hussar raids.
Oh, but the Trebs up front just getting overwhelmed by Hussar. The Cavalier can't even clean them up. They only have +1 attack. That's why I was like, they look like they're doing such little damage, and they just don't really have any of their attack upgrades yet.
And honestly, Mongol Hussar are one of those weird units where they are so cool against melee units, but they even die to freaking Genitals here a little bit. Like, obviously when we've got decent numbers of Hussar, it won't be the case anymore. But if TaToH had chemistry in right now, these Hussar would be melting the Genitals, let alone the Cavalier. I mean, do you see a Genital raid over on the wood line? You throw them spears.
Yeah, and looking at count right now, villagers for DauT 149, TaToH 142, military a little bit different.
I think it depends on which composition you value more, and TaToH going back for that castle over here. This is kind of what I was saying before, where even though he did lose that castle, he kind of traded his castle. If he can get it back in that position later, it's just such a nice castle position, because it's very hard to push him off this hill. Nice micro from TaToH, taking out most of those Mangudai with the Genitals. Like, you don't really care if you lose some Genitals here. The Cavalier numbers, you don't want to lose too much of, but there's Camel raids and Cavalier baits and a Hussar even in the back of DauT's base whilst all of this is happening.
Yeah. Absolute mayhem in such a match. And DauT now going on the left side for castle control on that gold and stone.
Look at the bottom right of the map and look at where these freaking stables are. That's hilarious. So DauT not satisfied with placing them close to his opponent. He wants them literally in his opponent's space so that he can keep flooding Hussar. I do think that is a possible win condition in this late game. We were talking about Siege before, but with Cavalier Genital, Siege isn't as viable. Usually you want to use this Siege against more of a Camel Archer Hussar composition, which we do see TaToH slowly taking into. Rob Chang giving Step Lancers more of a hard time than they already get. Leave Step Lancers alone. The Cavalier are going to be cleaning up those stables to the left, but the Hussar raids on the right will be particularly annoying for TaToH, who is relying on that gold I don't think he has any other gold control that I can see.
He doesn't, and he's literally only got 1 on gold now.
He does have the relics, and the thing is that, again, with the Genitor and the Hussar, you can kind of hold quite decently here. And you can do lots of raids to try and get yourself back onto that, but not having access to that gold long term could be a big issue.
Yeah, he's not even managed to pick up the relic in his own base with all the chaos right now. He's actually only has the 1. Oh, those Genitor raids though.
I love the Genitor raids, and I also love the fight that he's taking on this hill. Like, yes, he's struggling on gold. The Camelarches and the Cavalier managing to get a pretty decent engagement on those Mangudai. It's just the gold access that I'm a little bit worried for TaToH on. He is repopping the villages quite nicely. There is Hussar raids in the back of his base. He's also got the Janitors still raiding DauT in the back. DauT also dropping a castle on that hill over there. I think it's too close to call at the moment. I think that if TaToH can get to a massive, maybe even Hussar at the moment, he is on light cab for the moment. I think he can hold long enough that he can kind of whittle down DauT's gold stockpiles. But DauT has a lot of gold access. In fact, there's about 3,200, maybe even more, maybe even 4,800 gold towards the back of his base, whereas TaToH kind of got a little bit unfortunate with his gold spawns. And DauT already mined one of his other ones.
Yeah, unfortunate thing right now though, Trebs, DauT 4-0. TaToH has nothing to siege with. He's gonna be forced off the hill again. He will probably swiftly lose control of his second castle on the hill. Actually, sorry, TaToH has 1 Treb, but it doesn't look like he's in any position.
I think he has to sell the stone that he's mining for gold units here, which is not really ideal. Like, you kind of want to use the stone for map control.
Oh, but that's got to be a good trade here. Elite Camel Archers versus the Mangudai in the middle,
They're
right
kind
next to
of
the
melting.
trap.
The thing is, though, I think that DauT's taking this fight almost intentionally. Like, even though he knows this is a bad trade in some ways, he's going to lose part of the Mangudai. The thing is that he probably knows that TaToH can't actually replace this army based on the gold control.
Yeah, and losing the 3rd castle this game.
Oh no, this is really looking bad for TaToH. I really thought he had it until the gold control was made evident. And it's kind of a mixture of the sneak stables and also going for that really that gold control super early on the right hand side when he kind of realized where all the other golds were.
So, like, we got to think back to that Castle Age decision from TaToH. He made so few knights, so little aggression there during his power spike, and just seemed to let DauT bully him through most of Castle Age.
Just let me, like, bully him. These Cavalier, though, if they can get even 2 Trebs here, I think they have done enough to buy TaToH enough time to get enough light cav to try and hold this position. I really do think you need at least 2, though. The magic number of Trebs is usually 3 and above, and it's really hard to out-repair anything at that point. Oh, it's kind of sending the Trebs a little bit forward. Problem is that he can't replace his Camel Archers at all.
Yeah.
He kind of needs to supplement with some Genitors. He's got a lot of Light Cav or Hussar now in the queue, but he really needs some more Genitors to try and hold it. It's going to be a trash hold sort of situation.
Yeah, right back into Hussar and Genitors. His Hussar will beat the Mongol Hussar, but man, he's got to get something to answer these Trebs.
Repair? No, maybe? Maybe he can't afford to repair this?
32 stone.
I still think I think you have to hold long enough with that castle that he can go and take this fight. I think that's game over at that point with that castle going down, because now his entire eco is vulnerable. We do see a castle on the right hand side going up for DauT, whilst all this chaos is happening, there is a Cavalier that is trying to deny it though.
Yeah, and I saw TaToH. He had Cavalier in DauT space, was trying to raid, but DauT never really fell below like 117 bills. It looked like the pop was barely going down in villagers. So there it is.
Yep, and DauT taking the game, and I really thought that TaToH had this one for a solid, I was gonna say 10 to 15 minutes here. But I think DauT played very well to his win condition by basically starving TaToH out of gold.
Yeah, great map sense by DauT. Great just game sense overall. The positioning of his castles was really optimal. Helped secure him some of those resources. His expansion early to that gold near TaToH. All of that was just superb. So it's not necessarily that TaToH played bad. It's DauT played exceptional.
That'd be definitely, I would completely agree with that analysis. I think that the big turning point, I keep going back to this right-hand side control and then the left-hand side control. I think DauT must have scouted all of these golds and very early realized his win condition here. So I don't think that you plan to go and take, I don't think you send your villagers all the way over to the other side of the map at the point where DauT did to go and make some sneak stables and get the gold, unless you've recognized that as your win condition.
Yeah, I agree. Like the only thing I would say that still pickles me, I can't say if it's right or wrong, was the early castle age decision from TaToH. But
I really do think
else...
that a bit more aggression on TaToH's end would have been ideal. He even had the 2 stable, and both of the stables at times were idle. I'm guessing that I don't think that a player of his caliber was accidentally letting them go idle. I think it might have even been a decision to more invest in his economy at that point.
And have you seen the civs?
I have seen the civs, so it is going to be Saracens versus Ethiopians. And do you know what one of the first buildings TaToH is dropping?
The range.
The range and a market. So I think we're just going to see some funky shenanigans. Like, even as Saracens here, I don't think that you drop a market as part of your Empire Wars build order unless you have something planned for it. We do see a second range coming down as well. I think, unless TaToH is just using the cheap market to actually wall up him, which could actually be 400 IQ if I'm 100% honest.
Sold stone, and he's going to click up as soon as possible.
This is super risky, but it could pay off. Like, how do you even counter this? If TaToH gets up to Castle Age, let's be conservative here and say 6 minutes.
DauT
isn't going to be up to Castle Age that quickly. And also the numbers of archers that TaToH could still get out at this point will still deal with any archers, at least initially.
So,
he's even going onto stone.
Really? Oh. I guess what kind of sucks here for Ethiopians is they lose that res from going up from Dark Age to Feudal.
True. And DauT having to sell his stone as well, obviously a little bit later to the party. So he will be taking the slim pickings of the Saracen market bonus. He will be up at a decent time though. But it's still going to be about 1 minute and 20 seconds where TaToH has a window to do damage. And I think he's going to find it. Especially with how DauT really hasn't walled that much, and these palisades will just die in a few hits to these Saracen archers, even after their slight change.
Now, oh my. I foresee a castle in the middle of the map.
I foresee one, yeah, between the 3 golds.
Yeah.
I was going to say maybe even more aggressive than that. But yeah, I can definitely see where you're going with it. I was honestly thinking that Asada's actually selling that stone. Never mind. But I was actually thinking maybe that castle goes right next to the gold and just a bit of a 105 castle with that kind of map control from the earlier uptime. I do think that in this situation as TaToH, you are down in the games and you do want to try and take one back from DauT.
Ooh,
Otherwise,
DauT with the micro.
I know. And the thing is, DauT will never let TaToH hear the end of it. More market abuse from TaToH, buying the food for Bodkin. The only problem here for TaToH is that he doesn't have a stable food economy behind this. Like, yes, Saracens can abuse market for quite a while, but there is a point where you will start suffering as a result. And even early ballistics as well, so this is a very all-in sort of strategy. I'm surprised there's not a third range, actually, as it is a TaToH rush, Tati rush, as we would call it. Maybe a villager pick? DauT. Very quick response though, will not be losing any villagers today. And a siege workshop, I think that's the appropriate response here. I think DauT is going to be forced to play defensive for quite a while here.
I don't foresee quite a while. I foresee 105 soon from DauT, depending on how much siege he can get out, because I think the castle from TaToH is about to be on its way.
Not if he sells more stone. He sold.
Oh, he sold it all.
He sold all of his stone. So he's even making a forward siege workshop. I think this is an all-in. Neither of us can really comprehend. If I'm being 100% honest.
So would his crossbow position be just as strong right now if he didn't sell the stone? Because
absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay.
He had no food economy, so he had to get the Bodkin out. And the only way he gets ballistics that quickly on that sort of economy is by selling the stone.
Because
the mangonel.
If he could have held him back at all and then still got that castle up too, man, that would have been just over right there.
Oh my god, look at the wood line. Even though the mangonel's chasing these poor crossbowmen, the mangonel does more damage to DauT's own villagers than it does to these crossbowmen. A nice attack round though, gonna be getting at least some of these down, but most of those villagers have died in the meantime, and he's holding them ransom.
How rude.
But loses the crossbowman, loses a bit of the pressure, but he's now 11 villagers up on a 1 farm economy, or at least at that time 1 farm economy. And DauT is down to a 2 farm economy, and we all know who wins in a 0 farm economy situation.
This is that aggression I was talking about earlier from TaToH, where, I mean, the idea, oh, beautiful micro 2 with the mangonels, but the idea...
Oh my goodness, TaToH wins! And one of the games that I kind of predicted DauT to win, because it's Empire Wars, TaToH honestly just has a very amazing, I'm going to even call it a prepped strategy for this. And kind of cleans DauT, honestly, with that early ballistics, Bodkin, crossbow, and market play. Like, we all know that the one person that can abuse the market best is TaToH, but I think he really did show that in this game. We are just going to fast forward up to catch up to live. Weird.
Maybe a
gold gen in the middle. It does look a bit like a goat as well, like boat as well.
I was like, not a goat.
Yeah, I can see a goat, definitely. Double down on it, right?
You Australians have some odd goats, let me tell you.
This is like a goat after it's bashed its horns into you a few times as you pissed it off. Anyway, back to the game. This is a very interesting spawn on Golden Swamp. Both players are actually a lot closer than usual. This one area between the 2 players is going to be absolutely crucial in terms of control, I think. And this right-hand side of the map is where all of this extra gold is. There actually isn't that much on this right-hand side of the map to control. There's like a couple of stone piles, but everything is concentrated on this one side.
There we go.
And in terms of map gen though, TaToH, I guess one of the considerations is this is actually pretty close to water. So if DauT ends up playing like let's say galleys, not too many galleys, but some galleys, he does have 2 rangeable, actually even 3 rangeable resources along the front, and only 1 back gold, back berries, and the back secondary stone. Whereas DauT has a bit of a game 1 map again. where he has the 2 back golds. This extra gold over here is also kind of defensible from war galleys as well, I think, but he does have 2 forward stones. I do think in this matchup you want castles as the Viking player.
Bonjour.
Do you think there's any way that the Burgundians can go for like a power dock play
What do you mean?
with their early eco? So Vikings obviously have a stronger water sieve later on, right? So what if DauT with the Burgundian eco so strong in the feudal and the dark age, or sorry, I got this backwards, but dark and feudal age can pump out a lot of ships and just completely keep TaToH off water?
It would be interesting, but we did just see DauT trying to be annoying with the scout and do a bit of scout block, a bit of a block on the villager, luring the ball, and taking a lot of damage. And TaToH with amazing micro that keeping the villager alive. I think that in terms of your kind of like theory here with the dock, it could be interesting to put maybe a little bit more of your resources into water. I just don't think that's how the Gunners want to play this long term. But then I think if DauT scouts the stones and the gold, I think he could consider just going for war galleys and castle age and trying to control the middle like that.
Yeah. Man, that was so unfortunate that he took so much damage on his scout, because now he always has to watch this dock here.
He does have this one villager helping fish.
Yeah.
This is like the most irritating thing when you are just like, yeah, I just want to collect some fish. And this one little arsehole scout is just constantly like chipping away at the boats, just being irritating and making it inefficient. And DauT actually making an interesting decision, maybe to try and be as annoying back here. It's actually what he's gonna do. Oh, maybe not. Instead, he's actually going for no. He's just like, okay, you're gonna be a little bitch. I'm gonna be a little bitch back. Excuse the French.
And now, like, that just takes the one ship out into a pond where the scout can't reach it. Brilliant.
Do you repair these? I think you do, almost. Maybe, like, the very low health one.
With that Vil nearby, maybe,
It's
but...
not like you're walking too far, although it looks like TaToH might be going for a second dock here. By this forward villager. I think he's gonna drop it. Does he drop it? I think he drops on the safe side of this. I don't think dropping it on the risky side is worth it. A barracks coming down for DauT, so indicating he wants to go for land aggression at some point soon. And TaToH going for a more walling approach, so he wants to play for water. I think this makes sense. Vikings are gonna want to play for water initially. And then follow up with land. I think Burgundians want to play land sooner rather than later.
Yeah. So that little scout fight delaying DauT's second dock. Now TaToH has 2 docks working before DauT, which you're already sort of in a deficit here against the Vikings on water.
The only problem here is that because he's Vikings, he has to open galleys. Now, normally what I think would be ideal in this situation would be opening with 2 or 3 fires and then switching to galleys as any other Civ that wants to get really quickly into galleys. But as Vikings, you don't have that luxury. You have to play really defensive with these first few galleys. You need to get early fletching to deal with the fires. So it kind of forces you into a bit of an awkward spot, I would say. But I think once he has 4 galleys out, in theory, he should be able to defend this. I actually don't think he sees the second dock. He's looking for what the fishing ships are, and DauT can't find them. He's just like, where are they? Where are they? And TaToH, all in the meantime, sees these and is just like, yeah, cool. I'm gonna keep my numbers up, and he's even getting a demo in the meantime, and he's getting his blacksmith down. So as long as these 3 fishing ships survive, I think I might have just jinxed him as a fire ship. Nope, never mind. I think as long as these are still collecting a few fish, I think that TaToH's eco is just going to be a little bit nicer than DauT's. DauT is now finding this though.
You know what we call that right there, though? That was sneaky salmon.
Oh boy. TaToH
Oh,
used
the
the
block.
fishing ship. I love. Okay, this sort of micro is disgusting, but I love
Oh my
watching it.
gosh.
It's very entertaining. And like, if I try doing that, I have an idle TC that entire time. I have no villagers working on gold or wood. I forget
Yeah.
fletching, and yet when a pro does it, they make it look so easy. That was disgusting. I love it. And the important thing here for TaToH is, can he snipe these fishing ships? And he's gonna get them. And the fire ships, I mean, on this sort of map, they can sort of catch up to these galleys, but the demo's coming in. Demo was coming in at least. Oh man, the pathing there. But a big shot on these fires. The fires are pretty damn weak. I would like to see, if I'm going to be diving this deep with the fires, I would have almost liked to see a repair villager coming in. And DauT also making scouts whilst this was all happening. Even making a tower to try and get in. So it will be an aggressive land play from DauT. Following up from this, I wouldn't say disastrous, but not ideal start. And TaToH stonewalling, he is not having it. He's just like, we are playing water whether you want to or not, DauT. After the Islands game where I think TaToH really did show his abilities on water, and DauT trying to make it as messy as possible on land. It's quite entertaining to see it almost unfold in a similar light.
Yeah. DauT just got Bosaw, though. So we'll see how well that does for his eco, if that can help him turn anything around here. If it is a delayed game at this point, obviously the Burgundians' eco going to be in the advantage here. Vikings don't have their eco boost yet.
I mean, wheelbarrow early feudal, like, yes, it doesn't do the biggest thing, but it's still a nice little bonus. And Bosaw does take a little bit of time to pay off as well.
Oh, sorry, that is... They do have the wheelbarrow, yeah.
But I don't know if I like how... I think I like the idea behind this tower for DauT. But it makes less sense.
Yeah. Oh, demo.
Without the numbers. Oh no, and TaToH not really paying any attention there. I think these might even be just right-clicked onto the dock rather than patrolled onto the dock.
I think he's kind of just comfortable maybe with his land control for now. Or like his land position, per se.
And TaToH dropping his favorite building, the market. And he's just gonna buy a little bit of food to click up to the next age. I think at this point, you go galley, you go crossbow, and I think that you've basically won the game. DauT is almost up to the castle stage. Maybe I should have come out too soon, but it feels really rough in the situation when you're gonna be losing water, and in terms of land, I do think the Vikings have better options in early castle age than the Burgundians do. And DauT having to hurry the market up because he can't actually click up to the next age. It's actually going into stone, which either indicates that he wants the TCs in the next age. They just buy 100 stone now. It seems like a bit of an off time because he's going to drop a second tower over on this wood line. Don't think TaToH cares. Like, TaToH's already kind of put a outpost over here to see what might be happening. He knows this is coming, and he's just like, well, I've got like 3 more wood lines. Thank you very much for making that investment.
Do you think there's anything... Yeah, heavy plow. Do you think there's anything this game so far that could have gone a lot differently for DauT that would put him in a good position? Like, kind of like based on what his plan was here, but maybe even just like the scout, him not losing a bunch of HP.
I think that was definitely a mistake on DauT's part. Oh, demo. Oh, decent shot. Lots of HP lost, but...
Hit all 6 there.
I don't think it hurts TaToH as much as maybe DauT would be hoping for, though. Because DauT's
Yeah.
going to take him off of water. I don't even know if he needs to invest into War Galley just yet. In fact, he's not even going to bother. He's just going to go for some longbows. He's only got 7 upgrade. He's going to go for 3 TC initially. Maybe a touch on the greedy end. I would like to see maybe at least 1 range going down, but he actually made a stable, so he's going to be going for these Viking Knights. And the funny thing is here, until DauT gets the Cavalier, these Viking Knights are basically as good as the Burgundian ones. And he's even got the... and DauT's completely open. I think TaToH does 300 IQ'd this with the Knights. I was not expecting that. And a bit of a Vil fight trying to bash down that scout. The Knight is just going to try and waltz into the wood line. I see at least 1 or 2 villagers being picked off. We do have Forging in as well, which is a little bit strange. Usually you want to go for +1 defense, but Forging actually makes it so you can kill the villagers in 1 less hit. And DauT dropping a monastery at home, but he did a half quick wall on the wood line and he kind of didn't get around to it.
Oh.
No, DauT.
Almost quick walled it in, but the Vil blocked it.
And DauT's sending his own knight to try and clean up the knight, and he has got a siege workshop forward with this tower. So I think he can do some damage, but TaToH's already on a monastery transition of his own. And every time that DauT has to path near these boats, it's just going to be a little bit more HP chipped off. So I think as long as TaToH can control the rest of the left-hand side, I think he's in such a good position where I don't think DauT really has much of a chance to come back here. We'll see though.
Yeah.
Second TC going down for DauT. I understand this TC. I get that he needs a TC on a woodline that's safe. I can't help but feel like with the complete lack of map control he has, this is maybe a touch on the risky end.
I mean, he's already looking so far behind.
Actually 17 villages behind, even with the earlier eco upgrades. Both players actually have the exact same level now. In fact, DauT doesn't even have wheelbarrow or handcart, whereas obviously the Vikings, the free one, have both. And TaToH adding a second stable. I'm not entirely certain about this. Maybe he's not expecting the Burgundian Cavalier coming in just yet, based on DauT's economy. Hey Karu, how you doing?
DauT actually was already researching Cavalier, and then he canceled it, and now got it again.
I think the thing with Cavalier though is it's just you lose so many numbers in terms of momentum. So I kind of understand why he might have not wanted to go for a 2-stone, although TaToH taking a not so ideal fight. I think if I'm... Oh, there is 2 Rams, a Mangonel, 2 Villagers, a Spear, and 5 Knights here that are looking to do some damage. There is at least 1 Monk here and a second on the way though. 2 Monks actually. And I feel like all you need here is like 2 conversions and all of DauT's pressure is just gone. He hasn't even got +1 defense on these Cavaliers, so even though, yes, they're Cavalier, they're big and scary, they're not that scary when they're diving TCs. Even with the Rams to help them out a little bit. A 4th TC, sorry, coming down for TaToH. And this TC isn't really meant for villager production. It's just to make it harder for DauT to push this position.
And I think it looks like he's going for the same kind of strategy here as TaToH, getting the forging first, just so he can try to even up the villager numbers. Just sniping vills, hopefully. Rams in first.
And there's Monks almost in position. At least one of those Rams going down. You need these 3 Rams alive pretty much here. With the conversions coming in, this is a massive win for TaToH. The game is pretty much over. Let's see if DauT calls it though. Night Owls, thank you so much for the resub. A whole year, man. Really appreciate it. An amazing end to the series. DauT does win the show match 6-3.
Keep killing it, dude.
But TaToH playing really dominant in those last 2 games.
Yeah. 2 relics, even. Wowza. So nothing fancy yet for the Burgundians on Golden Swamp.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused by
was
the
hoping for
Burgundians
some
pick on
crazy,
Golden
like,
Swamp.
3 dock shenanigans from them with the Burgundian eco.
Oh, and that
But-
KD is a bit rough. 33 to
Yeah.
11.
I think TaToH just showed his water prowess, as you said again, and yeah.
I have to say though, DauT even got a relic whilst all that was happening. Those GL boys definitely love their relics, and it's always so good to see them able to focus on so many things at once, and yet the relic, they always seem to get them.